do what we call ghost to ghost instead of coast to coast. Actually, it's the same thing, just new name. And we tell ghost stories all night long. Now,
well, hello and welcome to the stream.
But if you would like to see it in my face as well, then you're going to want to be absolutely certain you check out tonight's webcam photo, which I took just a very few moments ago. That'll show you, it'll absolutely demonstrate to you what my mood is like. You'll be able to see my mood like that. It's my webcam shot. You know, you go to my webpage, go to program. No. You don't go to program. We'll do you get there. Let's see. Good. Now I can't even operate my own computer. Here we go. Program and Art Bell Studio Cam. Yes, indeed. Took that a few minutes ago. That'll set the mood for you, all right? I would like to welcome WTSLAM in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Or is it New Hampshire? No, it's New Hampshire. Technically, it's probably New Hampshire, right? 1400 on the dial there. Yo to Sean Baker, the PD. Little do you know what you're in for, Sean. It's gonna get a little rough. It always does on these nights. All we do is tell real ghost stories. And, you know, there are a few rules to what we're going to do tonight. Let me lay those down now, all right? Only serious, interesting, scary ghost stories need a plot. They're all by phone. Unless you consider yourself to have, because there's as many of you out there as there are ghosts. And a million ghost stories in the night. So only the premium ghost stories need a plot. I mean, they've got to be good. So that's rule one. Rule two is, for God's sakes, turn down your radio. Okay? But that's always a rule. Then there's rules about, boy, we had a lot of rules on ghost photos. Yes, we will accept ghost photographs, as I think now we have I think we have the best collection of ghost photographs on the web. If not, then we're certainly getting close, to the best, and that's thanks to all of you. The same ones that are going to provide the quality ghost stories tonight, I would like to provide quality ghost photos as well. So only the good ghost photos need apply. Now, what does that mean? That means any obvious cigarette smoke ghost photos are out. They've got to be better than that. That means a ghost photo with a camera strap blurring the front doesn't count either. Occasionally we get the real thing. Last night, or the night before. That was the night before. Somebody led me to, I think it's the 5th page in the gallery. A ghost photos, the 5th page, I think. And there's this picture of this, maybe there's an arm coming right out of the television. And it looks, if it's a fake, it's a really, really, really good fake. If it's not a fake, it's everybody's nightmare. I mean, it's just everybody's nightmare. You look at that picture, so I led you there. I slowly, ploddingly made my way there on my own website, and I got to that one. And I thought, look at that. I'd never seen it. I guess it's been up there for a while. I hadn't seen that particular one. That's a real heart stopper. Absolutely no question about it. So we want only quality ghost photos sent to webmaster@artbell.com. That's Keith. He is standing by to review and judge your photograph. And if it's up to par, if it's really scary, we're going to put it up tonight. In fact, we've already got new ghost photos up there for you right now. As the collection continues to grow, I mean, there is no doubt, there is simply no doubt in my mind about the fact that ghosts are real. They are. They're as real as we are. There may be questions about what a ghost is. Whether it's a human soul trapped here, surely sometimes it is, right? Human souls do apparently, for at least a period, if not longer, get trapped here on Earth. And then there may be the memory, the sort of, I don't even know what the right phrase would be. The memory that I don't know what it is that's left of a person when their soul has departed, but something that seems to stick around. Maybe that means we have more components than we thought we had. I mean, soul goes this way. The lingering memory of the person goes that way. I don't know. Have you ever thought about that? We may have more components than you thought. Oh, this is really good for any program you do up here. This way of coming back into the show. It's good for any program you do. All right, so you know what we're going to do tonight? It's going to be ghosts all night long. Shall we experiment? You always got to get warmed up in this biz, so let's see. All we're taking are ghost stories tonight. That's it. Got one to tell? Good one? Fine. All other matters are forbidden. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Morning, Art.
Hi.
I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Canada, yes, sir.
See, I'm CJOB here.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know if I met a ghost or a time traveler, but this is one freaky tale, let me tell you.
Well, just sort of lay it out for me real quickly if you can, and I'll try and make a judgment.
Every summer I go and I live in a tent in a campground. One night I'm sitting there listening to a football game. This guy rides up on an old Indian motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
He had skin that looked like leather. He had Texas plates on his bike.
Yeah, a lot of them in Texas look like that.
He had two stickers on the fender skirts. One said America, land of the free, as long as you do what you're told. The other one had a picture of Mount Rushmore and a picture of Reagan smiling with a tooth that was sparkling. And it said, don't believe any of them. Anyways, we're sitting there talking, like he gave the guy supper.
If you're going to give me this kind of detail all the way through, we don't have enough show to do this.
Okay, anyways, we get talking and comparing countries this and that. Told me that they never really did land on the moon.
Americans never landed on the moon.
He said that. He said, not only that, he said Apollo 13 didn't happen the way he said. There was no accident in space. I asked him why this would happen. They said, he said the country's morale was down, Vietnam War. He said, if you look at when they came back to the planet, the whole world stopped. Sat on their seat, on the edge of their seat, and held their breath.
Mm-hmm.
Said they done it for financing, they done it for the morale of the country. Anyways, he went on and on. I asked him what he done. He told me he was a history teacher, and he kind of grinned and gave a belly laugh. He started telling me all these tales. And sometime I got up and went to use the outhouse. I was about 200 feet from my tent. I came back, he was gone. I never heard the pipe. Asked my neighbor beside me, he never seen the guy all night. Nobody in the campground seen this guy.
So you think that he was the ghost of America? Really? I mean, teaching you history the way it really was versus the present matrix that we all live in, right?
I don't know if he was a ghost or a time traveler or what he was.
Well, see, it's close enough. I'll accept that. That's a fair medium call. Ghost or time traveler, who knows? Matrix traveler, how about that? West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, man. Oh, man, I thought I made it there. Yeah, right there. It's Mr. Arthur.
This is Mr. Arthur.
Hi, Dre. Hi, dear.
What can I do for you? Do you have a ghost story?
Yes, my dear. I just was back in 93. I was in a 7-Eleven. There was just 3 people in the 7-Eleven store, me and 2 people. 2 people came in front of me and they were going, with the milk and the soda pops are.
Yeah.
And,
they go up against the wall usually.
But anyway, these 2 people they were dressed in light clothes. And they're just a few feet in front of me. And all of a sudden I heard this voice out of nowhere. It says only fools pay. And I just looked around and there was somebody there that said that. And
maybe it was a voice in your own head.
Yeah, only fools pay.
Only fools pay. Trying to talk you into popping a soda pop or God knows what else. See, could have been your own inner voice tempting you. The little guy that sits over on the... Does he sit on the bad one, sit on the right or the left? And there's a good one. But the good one doesn't get to speak up that much. That sounds like the bad one. Only fools pay, said Devin. Take it, bud, and run. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Art. This is Frank. I'm calling from Orlando and I'm listening to you on the internet.
Yes, Frank.
This was quite a few years ago. I was actually pretty young, about 6 years old, 6 or 7. I lived in Long Island at the time. And I had an appearance of some type of apparition in my bedroom window. Stays with me today. I remember it as just like it happened yesterday.
What do you remember it looked like?
It was a definite female, a woman that appeared to be in her 30s. I remember that it was generally all one color, like a greenish or grayish color. And the best description that I can give of her, I can actually see an emotion on her face that appeared that she looked at me with compassion. If I was to see it today, I wouldn't be frightened. But then I ran out of my room screaming. And I never told anybody about this until about the age of 25. I was mentioning it to my sister. At that point, she told me that she had also seen the same thing in her house.
Oh, no kidding. So whatever it was then was in the area of your house, and not just visiting you in particular, but...
I would imagine, it was not something that I saw all the time. It was just a one-time deal. My parents never mentioned anything of it. But we did move out of that house about a year afterwards, and the people who purchased the house from us moved out about 2 months afterwards. I don't know if that's related or not, but...
I don't suppose when you sold that house that you disclosed to this happy little honeymooning couple that was going to get it next. That there was an entity in there that would tend to show up by your bed in your window at night.
Well, at the time I wasn't old enough to have that kind of contact to give that information, but...
You mean you didn't say, Mommy, Daddy, you've got to tell them?
Well, actually, I have a grandmother who was babysitting that evening, and she does remember me running out of my room screaming. But, yeah.
All right, I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you, and take care. Yes? An entity. Well, what do we know about this? We know that ghosts, particularly those produced by suicides, especially suicides, and that is worrisome, seem to hang around the place where they committed suicide, where they took their own life. So I suppose had you had a chance to, check into it a little bit, you might have found that somebody may have done themselves in on that property somewhere. These days, you've got to disclose that kind of thing when you sell a house. But you and I all know, we both know, don't we, that you would never disclose that, would you? And oh, by the way, you're buying an entity as well in the house here. No, you're not likely to say that, are you? So, I wonder how frequently such a thing is invoked. I suppose when there's an official prior history of haunting. Now, how would you establish that? Well, newspaper articles, perhaps? I can see an attorney using that. You see, there was publicity about this house. Everybody knows there was something wrong, very, very wrong in this house. A newspaper story like that. So who would want to have one about their house, right? Nobody. But then you couldn't sell it without disclosing what was really going on inside. I'm Art Bell. This is Ghost to Ghost AM.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind, but he was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped up on a heap of snuff and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know him, but I know a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play a pretty good fiddle, boy. Give the devil his due. I'm in a fiddle of gold against your soul. I think I'm better too."
If you have a really good ghost story, and you don't try to get through tonight, something really awful is going to happen to you. This has burdened you long enough. This is your opportunity for release by telling your story. And if you don't, it's not my responsibility. You've been warned. On the first time caller line, you're on air.
How you doing, Art?
Well, so far so good.
Before I tell you, can I ask you a question?
Possibly.
Do you know what lineage the Vikings were?
No.
I don't either, so I guess it's not going to help. But anyway, I don't really believe in ghost art, but I do believe in demonic manifestations. I believe there's familiar spirits which pose as people that we've known, which are actually demonic manifestations.
That is a really conservative religious viewpoint, isn't it?
Right. And I believe there's non-specific demonic
And you believe there are everything that would be that explains the millions of stories we can get on this program and elsewhere, and photographs, all of it is explained by the devil.
Well, yes, because the Bible points it out about familiar spirits. And
so, all right, fine. We'll go with what you believe your category to be.
But I also believe that
I'm not going to argue it with you. You believe it? I'm not, fine, I believe it. Just tell me, have you had an encounter with an evil, demonic spirit?
Absolutely. But let me just say that I believe that they could be interdimensional beings too. That doesn't, because that's separate entities.
So you're a little open-minded.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Go ahead, tell your story.
Now this comes with a parallel too. Me and a friend both had this same experience at different times. It's pretty wild. Not only did we have the same experience, we had been friends for several years, and then all of a sudden we found out, while he was retracing his roots that we had the same grandfather in Ireland, the same great-great-great-great-grandfather in Ireland, which was very weird because we're both from different areas of the country, and we met each other through work. But anyway, what happened one night is, I'll get right to the story, I woke up, and what I saw was really, really scary. There was a big entity in my room at the foot of my bed, and it was huge, and it had horns, great, huge horns on its head. And I'll get to the clincher of this in a minute. But it had great horns on its head, and it had red eyes, bright red eyes, and it was just standing there in my doorway.
Red eyes. Heat red eyes.
Right. So what I did is I said, of course, and I'm not really, I believe in the Bible, and I believe in Christianity, but I'm not a big practicing Christian. But nevertheless, I said, in the name of Jesus, be gone. And the entity walked back through the door and faded away.
All right. You know, and I've heard this a million times.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's more?
Oh, there's much more to that.
I was just going to say, though, and this will argue a little bit with your belief system, I know, but you might as well have said, in the name of our spell, the paranormal talk shows be gone.
Well, that might scare you, too.
It might have been, certainly would have told us a lot. Now, somebody out there should try. Now, I'm not going to be responsible for any lawsuit, for any bloody pulps, just sort of lingering and soaking into the bed that are left after this is tried.
There's a great other part of the story, though.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Me and my friend, we practice coffee drinking at restaurants late at night, talking about things, including your show. We like to talk about your show over coffee. But anyway, I told him about that experience one night. I told him, and he says, well, I had the same experience, the same thing. And I said, did it have horns on its head? He said, yeah. And I said, well, something similar to you said, and it back down the hallway. I didn't tell him one point of this. I said, well, tell me what it looked like. He said, well, the horns weren't really horns. It was like a Viking cap. And I looked at my friend and said, I did not tell you this part about it.
Yeah, the Lydia.
That's what it was. It was a Viking cap. I didn't tell him that, but we both had the same experiences. We both said something similar, and his, instead of, just out of the room, his was in the hallway, and it walked down the hallway and disappeared. It was like a huge Viking.
I'm with you all the way, and I can't think of anything that I would less like to see than something with glowing red eyes. That creeps me out. That always creeps me out. Glowing red eyes, I know, are bad. Very bad. No matter what else, what other form the creature has, the glowing red eyes, they're very bad. And by the way, just so there's no mistake about it, if I ever encountered one of these things and I had to invoke a name to get it going, you can bet your bottom dollar it wouldn't be my name. You all want to try that, you go right ahead. Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Hi.
This is Robert, KFI in Los Angeles.
Yes, sir, buddy, KFI.
I have been haunted by the ghost of a dead cheerleader.
Whoa. Not as bad as a lot I hear about, sir.
Oh, yes. She died quite recently. She was murdered by a photographer, and the photographer was sentenced and convicted for murdering her. Do you remember this story?
No, but well, let's see, do I? I do remember, well, anyway, it's not important. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, you see, I had met her 5 years previously, but I was haunted by her in 1973 when I was in the Air Force. I would be in formation. There'd be several thousand of us in formation going to tech school, and all of a sudden, the entire formation was called to a halt. All the big NCOs and officers came up to look at me, and I'm standing there wearing a cute little cheerleader outfit with pom-poms in my hand, and the airman behind me is rubbing my behind. And after that, my life was a living heck, and I couldn't understand it. And anyway,
well, I remember boot camp real well. And people like you, if you were really in that outfit, it's like you went home the next day. That was a ticket home. So there can't possibly be more to this story.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, there can't be, except to say that in boot camp, a lot of us in our mind's eye saw cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Well, everybody saw one.
And there wasn't a woman around to be seen.
Anyways, my former commanding officer was Brigadier General Chuck Yeager. Shortly after that, he came down to interview me.
Why?
Because my commanding officer was friends with Ed Yeager, and Yeager came to interview because he heard about it. This is about the time of the comet. This is about the time of the comet in 1973, and about the time Colonel Fox of the
It never got that weird, sir. Never. Chuck Yeager had a lot of things to do with his time, but interviewing people who had donned cheerleading uniforms and basic training while getting fondled, that would not have been high on his list. I don't buy it, Monk. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Bill?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. A little slow on the trigger here. I'm not a Canadian, so I really enjoy it. It's like the Air Force night tonight. I'm retired Air Force.
Are you?
I was stationed at F.E. Warren Air Force Base the last few months I was in. And since I went retired on active duty, they gave me a position babysitting in the dormitories. The buildings at F.E. Warren are extremely old. They're from after the Civil War. And I worked very late at night.
That really is old.
Quite a nice place. But as I was sitting there, it must have been about 3 in the morning, I had a Buffalo soldier report in. And
A Buffalo soldier.
yeah, full regalia, buckskins, the hat, the pistols, just terrified me.
You mean just came right up to you?
He came into my office.
Full form, not wispy or anything like a ghost, but just solid human?
No, he was solid to me, and then he left. He just disappeared. Vaporized, I guess, would be the best word for it.
In front of your eyes?
In front of my eyes. About 5 minutes after, everybody in the dormitory knew I'd seen him. Because it did scare me.
Well, there are two types after an experience like that. One is, like you, can't keep your mouth shut, gonna have to tell everybody in sight just to feel better about it. And the other is, I'm never telling anybody about this. I'm gonna go have a little nap, and I'm gonna see you.
Well, I lived across the field from General Blackjack's old house, Blackjack Pershing.
Yeah.
And there were reports of light and stuff in that building, his old house. And I had never believed anything until that soldier reported to me.
Here's
It's amazing.
Here's something that I thought an awful lot about, and that is about battlefields. I, too, was in the Air Force, to pile on here, and during Vietnam, and a lot of people died, and, there are a lot of ghosts on battlefields, and I've been wondering, if a ghost is really a human soul still here on Earth, then there would be, in my mind, zero righteousness in the world and a very unfair God to take any soldier who had died in defense of his country and keep his soul trapped on Earth.
Yes.
How ultimately unfair would that be?
That would be a terrible afterlife.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you very much. Terrible indeed. So, why then are battlefields littered with ghosts? What sort of God would allow that to occur? And the only answer you can really hope for here is that indeed it is not the soul, but some other component of what's left of you when your body is gone. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, this is Anita from Harrisburg, Oregon.
Hi there, Anita.
Hi. I have a kind of a freaky story to tell that happened to me. Actually, we've had several things happen to us in this house. And anyway, my husband and I had just watched a movie. It was the Amityville Horror. And we're getting ready for bed and went and got in. And I started getting this really icky feeling like something evil was in the room with me.
Yes.
And my husband had gone to sleep, And we had our 1-year-old son in the same room, and he started fussing and wouldn't settle down. And I was starting to doze off. Every time I doze off, I'd jump awake, like something kept bothering me, or and I had this real evil feeling. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I had dozed off, and I jumped awake again because it felt like something had taken a finger and run across my feet to the end of the bed, and I heard a hiss. It was a hiss.
And you don't have cats?
No, we didn't have any cats.
Hisses are really bad.
Yeah, but I had the light on all night. I was laying there on my back, so I could see all around the sides of me. And anyway, I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, so I said a quick prayer, and that feeling went away. And finally, my son,
whatever it was,
it did. And my son settled down, and I settled down, and we slept the rest of the night. And
well, I guess we've got to ask, is that really the power of God? Is the prayer, the invocation of the Lord's name, Jesus, does that really drive these things away, or is it just the command, your mental command to be gone?
But before that, my husband had seen a big figure in our doorway of the bedroom. He just saw the form of it. And this was like probably a couple months before my experience. And then it went away, and then a couple months later, he woke up, and it was right in his face. And he goes, "What do you want?" And it says, "I want you." And he just lay there, he was just frozen. And then I woke up too, and he was just drenched in sweat.
My God, you mean you both saw him, or when you woke, you saw him drenched in sweat, huh?
Yeah, he was all freaked out, and
that's interesting, because I've never heard of anybody coming back from "I want you."
Yeah, well, when we moved into this house, we had to clean it out, and upstairs there were stacks and stacks of witchcraft books, and we kind of think that had something to do with it.
Do you know anything about the former tenants?
Not really. Just that they weren't very clean. We had to clean up the whole house.
And they obviously had a big interest in witchcraft.
Oh yeah, big interest. And even my kids, when they were little, they slept up in that room where we cleaned the books out of. And my oldest son said he would see, he described them as white ladies dancing in the closet. And he said that they make kind of a growling sound.
Growling?
Yeah. So we've had a lot of weird stuff happen here. But
that's another thing that would be really upsetting to me, would be a female growling.
Yeah. And my older daughter had seen him too at the same time. So I knew that they, and they were totally serious.
That's even more serious. When you have like two witnesses, two family members who see the same thing at the same time, that really happens, time to move out.
Well, actually, we had a house fire, and it burned the whole upstairs.
You're kidding.
Scorched it.
Did it really?
Yeah, and so my husband remodeled the whole house, and we tore the whole top of the house off completely. And ever since then, we have not had anything happen here in this house.
Well, I wonder, but what does that say?
I don't know. That's really, that's another thing that I found really strange, because, after the house fire, we rebuilt the house, and then nothing else happened again.
So you burned the ghost out? The ghost burned itself out. Hey, what caused the fire, do you know?
Well, they think it was an extension cord.
Oh, yeah.
They're not sure.
Yeah, that's almost as good as swamp gas.
Yeah, this house was built in 1940, so, lots of things could have happened here.
But see, that sort of seems to say that whatever it was locked into that physical place, that physical building. And so what in the world do you suppose happened to it when it burned?
I don't know. That's what I've always wondered. That had me puzzled, because, we were having so many weird things happen here, and then all of a sudden, it's gone.
Well, a lot of people in the audience scoff at this kind of thing, and they say, baloney. Stories, made up stories. Not made up, is it?
No, none of it.
I appreciate your call.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care. No, not made up. Unfortunately, these things are real. I wish that we understood more about them. And try as we might, it seems nearly impossible to achieve that. Once again, you might take a glance at my webcam photo tonight when you get a chance. It was my in the mood photo. Well, let's see what lurks upon the wildcard line. You're on the air. Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Extinguish your radio.
I did.
You have a ghost story for us?
I certainly do, sir.
Let her.
Okay, so I was in my house in Plymouth, New Hampshire, where I actually rented the apartment above an accounting office. And one night at about 10 o'clock at night, all of a sudden I heard some loud noise. It sounded like somebody was down there slamming one of the doors. And I heard what sounded like somebody going into a file cabinet and just ripping through the files. Like you could just hear papers there flying through. And then, and I was scared. I said, well, I yelled down to her. I said, who's down there? And I said, I have a gun up here. And no response, just started tearing through me even more. So I went and I called the local police. They showed up in 3 minutes. The noise stopped pretty much right as they showed up. I went out and, greeted them, and they were like, well, what's going on? And they went and they checked all the doors to make sure nobody had broken in. And then, sure enough, they said, oh, there's nobody in there. They shined their lights and then whatever, and they left. Well, the next morning, later that night, I heard nothing more. But then the next morning, the accountant came in and said, I went down there and said to her, this is my landlord. I said, I saw the police trip last night. Someone had broken in and gone through your files. She's like, well, nothing was on the door. And she's like, that's really weird because I couldn't tell if somebody was holding the door when I tried to come in this morning.
Really?
Is this our bell?
Yeah, well, of course it is, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like somebody was holding the door and she couldn't get in?
Yes, sir.
While all this was obviously going on, huh?
Yes, and then she went around the front, unlocked it, and went in, and went back to that back door, and that door was unlocked, and no one was there. And I was looking out every window in that house to make sure that nobody came running out of it. It was a college town.
I've got to go at that point. Thank you. This is Ghost to Ghost AM. Do you? Good morning, everybody. I'm Marcel, and tonight we're telling only ghost stories. That's all we're doing. Ghost stories. If you don't have a ghost story, don't call. And it better be a good one, too. And we're only taking quality ghost photographs sent to my esteemed webmaster. If you have a ghost photograph that doesn't look good, not smoke, not, camera straps or anything like that, we want the real McCoy. Send it to webmaster@artbell.com and we will post it tonight during the program. You will look at it. By the way, I've got my own webcam. Remember when you were a kid? Well, wait till you see what the results are.
Raspberries, everybody!
My webcam. It says volumes about my mood. I look at my own webcam picture and it scares me. I look at that and I go, oh my God, what's in me? Maybe that's a good question. What's in me? You take a look at that. Do I have my evil side? God, terrible. Absolutely terrible. What's to the Rockies? You're on the air. Hello.
Hello there.
Hi.
Glad to have you back, Art.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Andrew. I'm in Castro Valley, California.
Oh, yes.
Listen, I have a story that took place in 1980 I was a sophomore in high school. I don't know if you know where the town of Auburn, California is.
I do indeed. Oh, yes.
Well, I went to high school in Auburn there. The high school was previously a university that my father attended. Just about a half a mile away, there was the Auburn Courthouse. Very famous building, huge, and it had been abandoned for at least 40 years. Right after the war, they stopped using it and moved the courthouses to a more modern building. And I was an aspiring filmmaker in those days in high school, and so I managed to get permission from the county clerk to go in and do an amateur film in there, and I got the keys, and I went into the place with 2 or 3 friends of mine.
This was going to be what? Just some historical film?
No, this was just going to be kind of a romp, kind of a fantasy little thing. I didn't quite have it worked out. We were kind of winging it as far as the film goes.
Yeah.
But it was just an interesting background once I got in there. I had no idea what I was in for, as far as the story goes, and the architecture too was pretty amazing. We got inside the place. If you can imagine, just a huge box, basically, made of stone, 3 stories high, and then on top of that was a giant rotund, much like a Capitol building rotund.
Oh, yes.
And on top of that was a little miniature rotund where you could get up, kind of a crow's nest.
No, I can picture it. I've seen the buildings.
Okay. Well, we got in there, and the whole downstairs was all marble. I think it had been redone in the 20s in kind of Art Deco style. And there was dust and cobwebs everywhere. And we started setting up our equipment and looking around, and mostly we were using the film as an excuse to goof off, because it was just such a tremendously interesting playground. And to have the keys to this place, I felt like I was getting away with something. But we started hearing banging noises coming from the upper floors. And we hadn't been up there yet, so we didn't know if anyone was in the building or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went up and checked it out. 2 of us did, and we had our girlfriends there. They stayed downstairs. They didn't want us to go up. And there was no one there. So we came back down. We looked in all the courtrooms. And believe me, the courtrooms were lavish, dark, varnished wood.
Oh, even modern courtrooms are that way, and all through the South they stay that way. I mean, they're really old, as you point out, heavy wood, carved wood. You really have the feeling of old, sure.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. And in the downstairs there were safes. There were these enormous safes with brass and steel and iron, and they were just open, several of them. And so we filmed some footage down there, and this banging continued. And so really, after having found out that no one was in the building, the banging persisted, and we started really getting nervous. And yet at the same time, we were intrigued. We wanted to see something almost. We wanted to go up and have some experience, I guess, at that age. And so we kind of sneaked up there and looked around, and there was, again, no one there, nothing there. The electricity was on, so we could work the lights. And we came back downstairs, and I noticed that all my papers, my script in my little folder, was not on the bench where I left it. And I was looking around for it. Maybe I left it over where the safes are or somewhere else. And so I searched for it, couldn't find it, and then went back upstairs carrying all the equipment with us. And I noticed that, of all things, my camera strap was gone. Someone had actually taken the camera strap, unsnapped it off the camera, the movie camera, and it was missing.
Yeah.
So we carried everything up into this gigantic courtroom, and lo and behold, on top of the bench, on top of the judge's table or desk, there was my book and the camera strap neatly folded across it. And there was only 4 of us. The girls were really reluctant to come upstairs at all, and so there was me and my friend. And I would have noticed if either of us had been carrying the book or the camera strap. And I went back down and asked the girls, how did the camera strap get off of the camera? And they said, oh, we don't know. We've just been sitting here the whole time. They were down there, having sodas and eating food or whatever. And so I'm like, okay. upstairs, and we had turned off all the lights because we wanted to see if we could do filming in the dark, you know, with the present light coming in through the windows.
Only the young and stupid.
Well, you know.
I mean, after all this, you're turning off the lights. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we go back upstairs, and the light in the one courtroom is on. Now, I didn't think anything of it because, who knows, my friend could have gone back up there, turned it on, whatever.
Sure.
So we're in the courtroom, the light is on, I'm filming a little footage, and then the banging happens again. So all of us go downstairs, and the girls want to leave. They don't want any part of it now. They're scared because we've already told them there's no one here.
Proving again, girls are smarter than boys.
pretty much true. And, but, you know, adventure kicks in, and so we really wanted to know what was happening.
What you call adventure is actually stupidity and youthful testosterone running out of control. Anyway, so fine, you go.
Well, the girls decided to go, and it was, you know, the lunch hour that we had, and that was pretty much over. So, being studious individuals, they went back to school, and we stayed there, of course. And on the downstairs floor, there were cells, holding cells.
Oh, that's right, there would be cells, wouldn't there, in an old courthouse?
Well, there sure were, and a couple of them had doors at both ends. They were like long, narrow cells with a door at one end, an iron bar grate, so that was at the other end.
Gotcha.
Well, we went inside one of these cells, made sure that it couldn't lock, there was no lock on it, and the other end was wide open. We walked in, the door behind us slammed shut, for no apparent reason. And so our instant reaction was to run like Dickens and go out the other end before it slammed shut. I mean, we were terrified at that point.
And so you made a dash for the other side.
We made a dash for the other side. We got out and entered into a different part of the courthouse, circled back around to where we started, and it was open, as if it had never happened.
So let me guess, you went back in.
Well, no, we didn't go back into the cell. At this point, it had become like a game. You know, we were just waiting to see what the next thing was that was going to happen. And we couldn't let it go. I mean, we weren't seeing anything. We weren't hearing voices or anything. We were just convinced that somebody's playing with us.
Yeah, well, these kind of games in movies end up with dismembered bodies. Anyway, anything else?
Well, there was one final punctuation that made us all never go back. And that happened right outside the building in broad daylight, probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Up on top of the building, there were 4 statues. And they were the typical statue of justice holding the scales and the sword.
Gotcha.
Except they weren't blindfolded, they just had their eyes closed.
Right.
4 women on the cardinal points of the compass
Gotcha.
on top. We were approaching the building, just the 2 of us, my friend Aaron and myself. We looked up, we were just about to go in the front door, I had the keys in my hand, we looked up at the statue, and her eyes were open. And then they closed.
And they closed while you watched?
They closed while we watched. And we looked at each other, and we literally did a double take. We looked back up at the statue because we both recognized that we both had seen it.
Yep.
And we looked back up, and our eyes were shut. And that was it. We turned around and went right back to school.
The first smart move you made. That's some story, all right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Here. You know, when you look up at a statue, and the eye opens, and then closes, it's really time to go. I bought the whole thing, and the only thing that could have caused me to reject that entire story would be if they'd have, climbed up to investigate the statue or gone in the house. That would have been too much for me, but I'll buy what he gave. That wasn't bad. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello? Hello? Hello, are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Oh, there you go.
Where are you?
I'm on Long Island.
All right.
This is Russ. This is my first time calling. And I have something that happened to me when I was 47 now. And what happened was I was running around the house after my sister. My sister was 8. I was 4. And I couldn't catch up to her. And I was running around the house after my sister. My sister was 8. I was 4. And I couldn't catch up to her. And I was running around the house after my sister. My sister was 8. I was 4. And I couldn't catch up to her. And I she ran down the basement stairs. I ran down there after her. And she's running around the basement. She's laughing, and I'm trying to catch up to her. As I was trying to get her, I saw the basement door open. And so I just ran the heck with it, and I ran up the basement steps to go outside. And when I got to the top of the steps, I noticed my sister was in the backyard playing. And I looked down the stairs and I said, well, she's out there playing, and she was laughing downstairs, but, at 4 years old, who really, thinks of anything scary?
Yeah, of course not,
So then I just went outside and I continued to play. That was the first thing that happened. Then as I got older, my father would yell up the stairs at me and wake me up around 2 o'clock in the morning and say, what are you doing up there? Get to sleep. So I said, you just woke me up. So
something was going on around here.
Then he heard walking around. He says, you're walking around up there. I said, I'm not walking around. I said, you just woke me up. So now years go by, and I'm in the kitchen, and he's in bed sleeping, and my brother is upstairs sleeping now in that room. And and I heard walking around, and I went by the stairs, and I said, Jimmy, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I went upstairs, and my brother was sound asleep. So I got a chilling up my back, and I said, geez, this is where my father's been here all these years,
There you are.
And so that's been going on for, that went on for quite a few years.
Have you ever seen anything?
Yes, I did. Scared the hell out of me, too. I was around 15, I would think. And we had a whole, we had company over the house. It was a party for some reason. I don't know what it was. But anyway, there was a lot of people in the house. And I was coming out of the bathroom. Directly across from the bathroom was my mother's bedroom. My parents' bedroom. And so as after the door to come out, I saw a woman standing in the bedroom at the edge of the bed in a long white gown. I couldn't make the face out, but she was, it was just beautiful. That's all I can remember. It was just beautiful. And I went into the kitchen and I said to my mother, I said, who's the lady inside in the bedroom with a long white gown on?
This sometimes could be a really bad thing to go tell Mom.
Well, she said,
Anyway.
yeah. She said, I know we're saying bride and stuff, but no, she says, no, there's nobody here. There's no one in the house with a long white gown on. So I says, I'm telling you, there's someone in your bedroom there. She's standing there at the edge of the bed and she's looking out towards the hallway. And so we went in there, and of course there was nobody in there. And from that point, whenever I went past her door, I would never look in. Thank you. But because I did not want to see that woman again. Then there was one time where I came home from work pretty late, and I walked in the house, and it was dark, and I said, Ma, you home? Because I heard the TV on in the den, and she always kept the lights out. She just kept the den lights on, and
Sure.
With the TV on. So she goes, I'm home. I said, okay. I walked inside, and I walked in the den, and there was no damn TV on, and there was nobody home. So I flew out the door. I mean, I got these chills that went crazy. I just shot out that door. Then I was sleeping, and I woke up.
We're running a lot of time now, so.
Okay. All right. I was sleeping in my room, and the whole light was on. This is when I was just a kid, and I looked over toward the doorway, and there were two dark figures standing out my doorway. I don't know what they were, but they had these, they were shadows, and they had hats on, and they were I would say about 3 feet tall.
Oh, we know what they are.
And,
We know what they are.
yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something, Art. They were standing outside my door, and then I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, I'm fully awake here. I was rubbing my eyes, and what the heck is that? And I looked over again, and now they were in the door. They were about a foot inside the door. So, I just laid down straight. I could not believe what I was seeing. I just wouldn't, I just would not believe that there was something in the room. And with that, something grabbed my feet, and I shot up through the covers, and I went for the light, I put it on, and there was nothing in the room.
Yeah, physically grabbing your feet.
Something grabbed my feet.
Now that would scare the hell out of you. I agree with you. Thank you very much. Bad enough to see things, hear things, walking about, and then see things. But the line is drawn at the grabbing of the feet. If something physically yanks on you, that means it's strong enough to have manifested itself physically in this world, and if it wants you, it's going to have you. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hello, Art?
Yes.
Hi. I'm Indiana. I'm private in the U.S. military army.
Oh?
And my sister had a story quite like the females before. But, I had just a little bit to add to that myself, and I had one of the experiences somewhat in the same time. And we were young, living in an army base out in Fort Meade, Maryland. And my sister was up all night frequently, and she was always scared, and she was always running in the bathroom, and we just thought she was having bad dreams. Well, what the young lady had described earlier was exactly what my sister was talking to us about, and still continues to talk to us to this day. Something was literally scratching at her feet and grabbing at her feet, and she would have run into the bathroom, shut the door, and just cry her eyes out. Now, during that time, I was also having things waking me up, breathing up in my face, and it would scare me so much that it would wake me up.
Right in your face.
Right in my face, and it just scared me completely, and Mom did not know what was going on with her kids. Now, at one time, I had felt something actually grab me, and I thought I was sleeping, I thought it was a dream, and to this day, it still feels like a dream, but I don't know, you tell me, but it almost felt like I was lifting up out of my bed, and floating down the hallway, but it still, to me, it seems like a dream, but it
Might have been an out of body, but when things physically grab at you, it's getting real serious. 'Cause if they want you, they got you. I hear the drums are going tonight. It was heard from some quiet station. She's coming from the Ghost AM, actually. Only ghost stories all night long, and they're all from you. They better be good ones. Ghost photographs to be directed to webmaster@artbell.com. Travis in Belfair, Washington asks, Art, have you ever considered doing a show in a haunted house for an episode of Ghost to Ghost? I never dreamed I might, and I might not. I don't know. If I did it, I would want to go to a real haunted house, and there really are haunted houses, but then I have to ask myself, it would be in the middle of the night, like now, and would I really actually want to do a show from there? And the real actual answer might be no. I'm not so sure I would. I might. I know one thing for damn sure, I wouldn't do it alone. So my wife at the very least would have to come along. I think I heard, I don't think so, from the other room or something even worse. So would I do it alone? No, I wouldn't. Into the unknown night once again. West of the Rockies, you're on Ghost to Ghost AM. Cheers.
Cheers. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I'm calling you from San Diego, listening to you on KOGO.
Gonna be the one.
Yeah, Padres won tonight. Go Padres. But yeah, I'm JD, and I talked to you one time before, I think. I'm the guy with really into the summertime thing too, trying to bring it to stage. But before we get into the ghost story,
You got it. Go right to the ghost story.
well, this has to do with the ghost because did you know summertime was really not that Mackinac Hotel.
Yes, it was actually down near you.
Yeah, Hotel Bell.
Bell.
And that's a haunted hotel. The room shut down. But that's not my story. I am from Hollywood originally, and when I was about 20, I'm 34 now. A girlfriend of mine had a very successful father who bought a mansion up in the Hollywood Hills. And it had been empty for about, 8 to 10 years or so, whatever. And the first night he bought it, he was very excited. He told his daughter, and we went to go check it out. And it had a pool. And I'm a swimmer guy, I think, from Hollywood.
Sure.
Anyway, it was a really creepy pool because all the plants and everything had kind of overgrown. And it was a black bottom pool. But it was nighttime, and I took a dive in, and I'm a great swimmer. It was a hot summer night. It was in August.
Young and stupid and in Hollywood.
Yeah, I was. And it gets worse. But so I dive in, and when I was under the water, I just got this panic feeling that something was wrong. And I got up and I got right out of the pool. I said, something's weird about that pool. So I passed it. The gentleman whose house it was moved in, and he went away. He's got schools in London and Hollywood, New York, so he went away, and he didn't like me seeing his daughter, so I was not allowed at the house for. Anyway, he was in London for 2 weeks supposedly, so I went over.
Good time to see daughter.
Yeah, so I went over, and I brought my Ouija board, which I had been messing around with I don't know. So we reached there, and we got a hold of, and I've been familiar with it. She wasn't that familiar, and she got pushed, but it was these two little boys,
You mean that we're giving you messages on the Ouija board?
Yeah, for real.
Now, let me guess. The Ouija board probably said, "Come on, if the water's moving."
No, that was Marcel. So what's the No, they were 4 years old and 7. And the 4-year-old absolutely despised me. He didn't even know how to spell. He knew how to say like a few curse words.
I got you.
But anyway, moving on. This 4-year-old, I mean, really despised. And my hair was standing up on my arms. I was like, I don't like this. It's weird. So there were these two boys, and the older one, who was 7 years old, explained that when somebody lived there about 12 years ago, they were not supposed to be hanging out there, but there was a very high wall on the other side of the pool, and they went, and the little 4-year-old fell, and the 7-year-old jumped in to save him, and the 4-year-old dragged him under. They both drowned. So they told us this on the Ouija board. So the next day, the girl's sister came over to the house to hang out by the pool, and we were all out by the pool. She was going to tell her dad. And she said, "Hey, Amy, did you know that two little boys drowned in this pool? And that's why it stood vacant for so long." And we looked at each other. We didn't tell her. So then here, I've never broken a bone in my body, or ever, once, and I still haven't to this day. But the dad, all of a sudden, the next day, comes home from his, learning trip. 13 days early, it's like he went there and turned around. And he showed up and found me there, and we were up in his master bedroom, just, it was not pretty. Anyway, threw me out, but I was going out, and I ran out the back, and I was like in underwear and a t-shirt, and I went, "Oh, no, the Ouija board, if you find the Ouija board," it was under the bed, so I ran back up, and I got the Ouija board, and as I was running out, something tripped me. I mean, there was nothing there. I was running down, but I broke my foot, and I've never broken anything, but I know that little brat, that little 4-year-old, had tripped me. I mean, it was a panic situation. No, this is really real. Yeah, well, it's ghost night, so hey, I listen to you every night. You're the best, Art.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Let you take care. That would be terrifying in more ways than one, wouldn't it? Really, really terrifying to be caught like that. Whether it was a ghost or daddy, both were no doubt life-threatening situations. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Okay. Just wanted to say here, I currently live in a house that has a couple of things in it since we've lived here.
Now? You live there now?
Yeah, currently. Yeah, but it's always been here. House is about 20 years old. So it was built new. We moved in new. Nothing's ever happened, but something's always here.
What do you mean? What kind of something?
I guess it has to be spirits of some kind, because like we've seen things moving in the house. Everybody who's here, we've always seen something.
What do you mean moving?
Whether it's objects.
Moving in what way?
Like physically moving an object and playing games with it. Like,
Now, do you mean like sort of moving across a table? Do you mean something in the air? What do you mean?
yeah. Well, I've seen it myself move. I felt it like when actually wake me up at nighttime. Rather unusual. Like I've seen it move objects.
In what way?
Well, like just from side to side or up or down, and then it'll just drop it. It's actually taken objects, and then they've disappeared, and then they'll reappear like a few weeks later.
That sounds a lot like a poltergeist.
Lovely. Well, you know what else it's done? One time with my brother, this was before he moved out, my older brother, we were reading a book, and all of a sudden he calls me upstairs, and he's like, Matt, something happened. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I smelled this awful smell, and it started burning his hair.
What?
Like, seriously, went in the room, and you know that disgusting smell when hair's been burned?
I certainly do.
Yeah, well, that was the smell in the room, and I'm saying, well, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I was reading my book, and all of a sudden my hair started catching on fire. So,
that's a strong clue.
That's a strong clue to move out.
You bet.
Yeah, and so it's always, it's something
Now,
every day.
could you see anything? Was his hair singed?
Oh, yeah, right at the top of it. Not a lot of it, but it's definitely enough to smell it. But, I mean, that's just one thing. There's, every night when I go to bed, it particularly likes picking on me, and it likes picking on my mom. Every single night.
How can you handle that? I mean, how can you possibly handle that? How can you not move?
I haven't had a clue. Like, I've gone on actually on vacation, and this damn thing follows me. Like, I'm not joking. I could be in a hotel, and a day later on the trip, I'll just sense it in the room. I'm like, it's here again. It actually follows you around. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but that's...
Well, that's a fine way. You did fine. The question is, how can you stay there? I mean, how can you stay there even one more night? Burning hair, that's way over the limit for me.
I know, I'm here every night, usually by myself, and I'm here right now by myself, and sure enough, 2, 3 in the morning, it starts up. I record music quite a bit for a living, and it seems to enjoy playing with my equipment, whether it be turns it off, turns it on, resets different banks in my synthesizers.
Well, it beats having your hair set on fire.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you. That's not good. That's not good. I know the exact smell he's talking about, and I'm sure you do too. You smell burned hair, haven't you? It's awful. But to have your hair self-ignite, that's a really strong sign. Wildcard line, you're on the air.
Hi, Eric. This is Andy from Largo, Florida.
Hello, Andy.
How are you tonight?
I'm
Good. I got a story about a glowing tombstone. Up in Michigan, it's really good. Up in Michigan, each town has a little local legend. There's a story about off at 100th Street, out in Byron Center, there's a little cemetery. And they say, well, there's a glowing tombstone in it. And I remember in high school going out here, and you'd see it glowing through the years. It has vandals one year some kids put the stone wall, the Post Farm family that maintains the yard replaced the headstone. And my friend Mark that still lives up there said every year about Halloween, there's a big attraction of a big group of people that go out there. But anyway, it only glows during a full moon on a clear night. Sounds crazy. Well, I had vacation 3 years ago.
Now, wait a minute. Let me understand this. They replaced the headstone because it was glowing, because something was obviously really wrong. So they put a new headstone in, and it too glowed at a full moon.
The reason they replaced the tombstone is because I guess some kids got in there and they actually stole the stone.
I got you. All right.
Or whatever it is.
But the new one glowed.
And the new one glowed too. Well, how you doing? Like, oh, please. Well, when I went up there on vacation, I looked up the Post Farm because I used to know the family. And most of the kids are all grown up and have their kids now. But Ellen remembered me and she talked to me for a little bit. It was nice talking to them, and I thought it was their mercury light or something reflecting, because of everybody at cornfields out there. And the cemetery is so old. I mean, the headstone's at 1843 to 1920.
Right.
So they'd be about 77 years old. Hendrik Meyer, and the Meyer family from the Meyer farm. And she seemed a little stunned when I brought it up. But before I left, I took my rental car out there one night, shut the engine off by myself. I'm looking at this, and it was happened to be a full moon, and it sure enough, the headstone's glowing. Well, there was an old man about 10 feet from the stone. I don't know what he was doing out there, but he was just standing there. Now, most people go, how do you know it's going to miss somebody else? And not at 2:30 in the morning, because I'm a night owl. I'm up all night. Anyway, it was just really freaky, so I got in the car and took off and told Mark about it when I called him up a few days ago, and he said, oh yeah, that's very common. But in high school, I don't remember hearing about the old man walking around. So they can't explain it. And I guess through the years, even some students from Michigan State actually broke a small chunk off and had it studied. All it is just granite and, graphite or whatever.
Oh, well, yes, though, I've seen a lot of movies, and in all the movies, college students who take chips of glowing tombstones die in puddles of mush.
Yeah, really. Hey, before you hang up, one more quick story that you'll appreciate. Remember you telling about the car that stops on a railroad track and you can see like handprints on the back of it if you put powder on it?
In San Antonio, Texas, yeah.
Okay, well, check this out. I'm a waiter in a restaurant, and the table I had the other night went to Clarksville, Tennessee for vacation, where his uncle lived. And the same story, same scenario and everything. And I said, oh, come on. He said, well, we had to put some butter on the back of the bumper, the back of the part of the trunk, and the bumper just underneath it. And then they put some powder on it, so the powder actually sticks. Well, they say the same story. They never heard of the San Antonio incident. They never even heard of your show. And I'm thinking, they were telling me this, because I got family that was raised in, Old Hickory, Tennessee.
Well, I don't know, what did they do? Did they go to a railroad tracks?
Yeah, there's a railroad track on the
car, and you're saying that it got pushed off and they had handprints on the car?
Exactly, and the road's not on an angle, and it was an old school bus in the 30s, and a bunch of kids were hit by a train. And as of today, I know nothing about, engineering and stuff too much. Your car's not going to just start moving by itself. There's no way. The road's flat.
No, absolutely not.
The same San Antonio story. So what is it? But they actually saw the hammer. So his wife was just so freaked out about it. It bothers her today.
It would always bother me, and it still bothers me today. Why? Because of all those souls that you would not expect to remain on Earth, there would be the children, right? The innocents, the really young ones. If their lives were taken tragically by a train hitting a school bus, there's no way my mind can grasp the concept of a God that would allow their souls to remain, to push cars every now and then. It just doesn't add up. Either that or the nature of things is not as we would have it be in our world. Maybe there's nothing fair about death at all. Does it ever occur to you? Everybody thinks, well, death is going to be fair because God's fair, God's good, and God wouldn't allow anything bad to happen to our souls, right? But maybe the truth is there's not anything. There's not a damn thing fair about death. Even the innocent children and the most innocent of adults, Maybe there's nothing fair at all. That's something to think about. Dark at night, huh? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Hi, it's glad, I'm really glad to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
And before I get started, this is a good story about my brother. I wanted to shout out to everybody on SNet there in the Dark Bell channel. This is the source, guys. I had just told him my story in here, and I said, you got to call her and tell him this. So,
All right, so you are.
okay, my brother died of a violent death. We were at his funeral, and he'd always told us that he believed in astral travel and out-of-body experience and practiced all that, and he told us he'd find a way to tell us. So we're at the funeral home, and we're in a little room where there's a cold machine and vending machines. And my brother Bill says, okay, Howard, if you're there, let us know. The lights in the room start flickering, the Coke machine flickers, goes on about 5-6 minutes and stops. We talked to the guy who works there, and he said, that's never happened before, he's never had any kind of problems like that in the funeral home. So we were thinking, okay, that might be a coincidence. We're leaving after the funeral, and he had an old pickup truck that was rust bucket, and we had worked on this radio on it for a long time, over a year, trying to get it to work. And he didn't want to buy a new one for it because it's still a work truck. And it never worked. We rewired it, put new speakers, we pull out into the road from the funeral home, the radio comes on. It's ZZ Top, it's his favorite song. It plays the whole song, and then the radio goes off, and it's never played since.
Really?
And, yeah, that's
Really? Oh, that's, you know, in the world of is it a sign or isn't it the sign, that is 100% sign.
Well, it gets better. The light flickering thing, it started becoming more persistent and really consistent in my life and my family's life. I moved into an apartment about a month later. The light across the street on the street light was flickering for about a week. Then it moved to the light on my side. And a few days later, the light downstairs, and then the light above my apartment. Went to about a week. And my brother called my mother 1 minute after midnight on her birthday. All her life. To this date, this is the most convincing evidence. To this date, on her birthday, 1 minute after midnight or 2 minutes, her phone rings. When she answers it, it's a dial tone. And it still happens. We had friends over on her birthday just to see it happen. Now we don't know if I was pranking, but for a year.
I don't think so. That's a conscious thing. Definitely.
But the light things, it's to the point where my wife believes it now because we can be at the mall and it'll happen. And she'll go to work. She says, it doesn't happen when I'm not around you.
Listen, I gotta go.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.
I absolutely felt this wonderful love come through me. And so we walked down the gate, it was probably about 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock in the evening. And we walked into the yard, and I'm still feeling all of it. And my husband goes to take a picture, and I thought, oh, maybe they'll show up. So I asked St. Michael to allow them to show up and to show up in this particular photograph. And the odd thing is, they did, but I didn't tell my husband. We got the film back about a year later.
Why wouldn't you tell him?
I don't share stuff like that often because, you know, I'm kind of like that.
Even with your husband?
Even, yeah. You know, but I did later because when we got the film back, we forgot to develop it.
Yes.
And I forgot all about it. So when we got the film back, there's this giant light glowing around me. And I had two St. Michael's medallions, one in each hand, because I was going to give them as gifts to people, and I put one in each pocket. And my hands look like they're on fire. And this giant form is radiating above me, and you can see his face. Now, I have a friend who's a graphic artist, and she went looking for faces. And I said, I'm not going to tell you where the faces are, you tell me. So she went looking for faces, and she does like layouts for magazines. She's an editor. So she's got a very detailed eye. And she found another face, which was directly above the cross in the steeple of the mission of Santa Barbara, which looks like, a little bit like, you know, the picture that you have on your web of Jesus at the back, and it looks a little bit like that.
Yes.
And it was really overwhelming. And then I went and I showed this picture to a friend. She said, I never believed you about your ghost until I went and visited a friend who went to Santa Barbara, and I walked to that graveyard, and I just had to get out of there. I was panicking.
Well, you know, there's another aspect, thank you, of all this that bothers me. And that is graveyards. Again, I'm going to say this, and don't know how you all want to be disposed of when your time on Earth is gone. But graveyards don't sound too good to me. I mean, in terms of where I think I would like to go when my time comes. I'm leaning toward the ash idea. This graveyard thing, I don't know. Don't want to think that there's any consciousness left, and if there is, that it's stuck anywhere near a graveyard, because that wouldn't be a good place to spend a lot of after time. We're going to have our, by the way, our electronic voice phenomena people on again soon. They record voices in graveyards. So you see what I mean? Think about your own final disposal. Do you really want to be down 6 for at least part of the day? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. Hello, Art.
Where are you?
I'm in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Yeah, all right.
Okay, I have this one for you. I was, this road that I'm referring to, that these 2 incidents, this happened on the same road in the same year.
What incidents?
Okay, one is on a school night back in high school. There was, I had a stepmother that I had to, pay mileage on her car, to use her car to go somewhere. So that's what I was doing. On a school night, I went to a friend's house supposedly to study. And I went over and I picked up 2 girls. One was named Sue and one was named Alexis. I hope they're listening tonight.
Hey, Sue and Alexis.
We were down this road in front of an elementary school, and we were driving, not very fast, it's like maybe 35, 40, and a man, an elderly man, and his dog, you could see, I mean, it looked just real as real can be.
Sure. Did what?
I hit him.
You hit them?
I hit the goat. Now, if you can imagine, I have 2 teenage girls.
Did you feel a thump?
There wasn't time. I had 2 hysterical teenage girls screaming at the top of their lungs.
You have my sympathy on that, but I mean, when you hit this, whatever it was, I mean, you hit a dog and a human, right?
Yes, sir.
Or what was supposed to be a dog and a human. And so obviously, all 3 of you saw the same thing. They wouldn't be screaming otherwise. So what'd you do?
There was no noise. I had to keep my composure and try to settle them down, and I had to try to decipher and disseminate what just happened.
And so
I was able to, and we all realized something did transpire there, and they wanted to go home, and I took them home. And to this day, I didn't even go home and share that with my parents or my mother or my stepmother, because I had to borrow her car and I'm supposed to be out studying.
And where was this?
Outside of Chicago.
Outside of Chicago. So if they're listening this morning, they could contact me. And if you contact me, I'll put you all on together and you can verify that story.
And let me tell you, my uncle, one of my relatives on that same road, he built a nice house about 4 years later. I went to a Christmas party, and his neighbor is an elderly man. And at this Christmas party, for some reason, I started a conversation with this man, and I asked him how long he lived there in the area, and he said forever. So I asked him, I said, down the road there, was there any man that ever died that had a dog?
Yes.
And he said he knew his name. It was his neighbor. He died, a car hit him, and he died. And I'm at this Christmas party with my relatives, and I didn't say anything, because I didn't understand it.
And over the years, I've listened to Father Martin.
Well, I still don't understand it. It's the scariest, most worrisome thing you can think about. If ever there's an innocent, it's somebody killed out walking a dog across the road, right? And this guy seems to be reliving getting hit by a car or many cars again and again and again. For what? Eternity?
And we, the three of us, we have to live that because it's part of our life too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure it is. Well, maybe the girls will get in touch with me. It frequently happens. There's a whole lot of this that really is genuinely scary because it's just unimaginable to me that people would be sentenced to these horrible eternities. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
I heard it's Brad.
Yes.
In Rancho Santa Fe, just half a mile from the Heaven's Gate incident.
Oh, yes. I can imagine there may be some ghosting about there.
I'm 45 years old, and the story I'd like to tell you took place quite some time ago, back in the 70s. If you remember, towards the end of the Beatles' career, they embraced transcendental meditation for some time.
They sure did.
But believe it or not, when I was a junior in high school, the people that ran that called came to our school on career day, to a public high school.
I'll be darned.
Under the guise of, they told the people that ran the school that if we all did this meditation, that we would all get better grades. They actually called it the science of creative intelligence at that time.
Did they really? And they thought schools were foo-foo these days.
Well, they bought it, and my mother did it. Just about everybody in the school signed up.
Really?
Well, what happened was after about 3 or 4 years.
Wait. Hold your story at that point. We have a break, so
Okay.
I'm just going to hold you over and we'll finish the story, all right?
Thank you.
All right, stay right there.
Back at home with my wife, we were in bed messing around, and we're both kind of guarded people, but guarded as in, we don't let a lot of things out. I pay attention to a lot of things, and I trust my senses. Well, in bed, we were lost in thought, or whatever you want to call it. I got this feeling coming over me as if something was in the room with me. I've never felt this feeling before, but like I said, I trust my senses, and I knew something immediately was wrong.
That'll take away the moment.
Well, it did take away the moment, and suddenly I got a vision in my head that I've never had before. It was frightening. What I saw was, I imagine seeing a pit of hell with brimstone and fire and people in agony, and that flashed through my head. I don't know how long it took, but it flashed in my head. And I stood up in bed, kind of pulled upright, and I got really cold all of a sudden. This was in the summer.
People in agony.
Yes, people in agony, screaming, writhing in pain.
Many people in agony.
Yes, it was just, like I said, it was just a brief flash in my mind.
Kind of like, listen very carefully. A little piece of that, maybe?
That brings chills to me because it was very similar to what I saw and heard and felt. Anyway, I kind of turned to my left and I saw something flash out of the corner of my eye, and that really frightened me. And I turned to the right, and kind of swung my feet out of bed, and I saw a figure move from our bathroom into the doorway. And I turned, immediately looked at the doorway, and saw a figure move. Well, that frightened me. I jumped out of bed. I stood in the doorway, and I saw a figure running down the hallway. And at first I thought this was my wife's son. But like I said, I trust my senses. I knew something wasn't wrong, or wasn't right. So I go to my wife and push her off the bed and scream at her, "There's somebody in the house! There's somebody in the house!" I started running down the hallway thinking that someone was trying to harm her children.
Sure.
And as I get almost to the hallway, across from my son's room is our bathroom, and I would be direct to the face in our daughter's room.
Yes.
And when I got in the hallway, a small figure, about the size of my son, about 3-4 feet tall,
will sometimes not fully erase the tape, and you get some pretty weird sounds that sound like they're sort of halfway out of the ether when you have not
Happy birthday, Rebecca.
On the other hand, this will not occur with a new tape. What kind of precautions do you take so that doesn't happen?
When we're out recording, we constantly use brand new tapes.
Happy birthday to Rebecca.
Equipment needed to do this, but we always caution people to use brand new tapes, because if you don't, that's just one thing that can be rolled out on actually recording a legitimate voice.
So those tracks that we're going to play tonight have all come from brand new tapes. There was nothing previously recorded on the tape.
Oh no, everything has been brand new.
I've got stacks of tapes.
I'm sure you do. So I asked you to pick the top hit list of stuff that you've got, and you sent me, what, about 30 tracks, something like that?
Yes, we did. We actually had 32, I believe. A couple of them we couldn't even find to put on the CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we constantly get new voices. We have so many voices that we haven't even had a chance to post on the website yet.
I have probably hundreds of tapes that I still have to listen to see if I do have a voice.
So it's a company of voices from the other side just waiting to jump onto our tapes, huh?
I hope so.
I don't like that idea. I don't. All right, you two hold on. Sitting out there waiting to say something that somebody might pick up on a tape from the other side of the veil. Well, I don't know. I'm Art Bell, and this is Coast to Coast AM.
Kingdom of Nye, from west of the Rockies at 1-800-618-8255. East of the Rockies, 1-800-825-5033. First line callers may reach out at 1-775-727-1222. And the wildcard line is open at 1-775-727-1295. To reach out on the toll-free international line, call your AT&T operator and have them dial 800-893-0903.
Well, Brendan Cook and Barbara Macbeth of the Ghost Investigators Society are here, and with them they have brought electronic voice phenomena. What you hear, they say, comes from the other side, and we're about to get into that with them and play you some pretty chilling little clips. However, one more time, let me remind you, we've got a whiz-banger of a photograph on the website right now. Thank you, Peter Davenport. It's a UFO flying right into Popo, the mountain in Mexico. Was taken by a photographer, allegedly in Mexico, for a newspaper down there. As a matter of fact, we've got a scan of the newspaper photograph. So it'll blow your mind. It's under the What's New section on the website. Photograph of singer Ali Moore, who sang a song for me that I thought was very nice. More on the 3.39 now missing mysterious signal that came from up north somewhere. And a letter about Jimmy the dog, from Area 51. All of that on the website right now at www.artbell.com. Also a link to Brendan Cook and Barbara McBeth and the Ghost Investigators Society. That's there for your perusal as well. It's usually just this kind of night, isn't it? When you might go under a ghost. Brendan Cook and Barbara McBeth, welcome back, you two.
Thank you.
Might I ask how you get these recordings? In other words, obviously you take a tape recorder out with a microphone active, correct? Is there a mic connected to the recorder or not?
Yeah, we do use an external mic, just simply so it cuts down on the motor noise in the background and makes it generally a lot clearer.
And so you lay down a tape recorder and a microphone, for example, on a table. I would take it at a place where there's been known, if perhaps somebody has had an experience with a ghost, or do you go to certain places to do it, or can you do this anywhere?
Well, actually, first of all, we carried the micro cassette recorder with us. We carried it around with us everywhere.
Right.
We attach the external mic normally on our shoulder, kind of behind the head, so we don't make any noises into it, to our mouth. We do it, anywhere that somebody has called us and told us we reported a ghost, phenomena. Just places that we think may be haunted. I mean, you can do it pretty much anywhere that you think might be a ghost.
If we hear of activity taking place at a location, we'll go and ask permission from either the property owner or the manager of a business and ask them if we can conduct an investigation. A couple of times we've been turned down, but the majority of times they'll let us do it.
All right. I did not receive a list, even though I've got 30 tracks, I guess. I didn't receive a list of all of them. I've got something from track 8 to track 28. So tell me where we're beginning here with track 1.
All right. Track 1 it was recorded in an old historic railroad station here in Utah. It's been turned into a museum now. And we've gotten some really great voices out of the station. This one, however, was recorded by JS member Barry, and it was in the upstairs. It's an art gallery now. And we recorded a voice earlier that said the name Michelle. And he recorded this voice that says the name Michael.
Michael, huh? All right, let me play that. Let's see what we've done here. Now, is that what the voice was saying, Michael?
Yeah, from us listening to it, it sounds a little bit distorted just from us transferring it off the tape into WAV files and putting it onto the CD.
All right, let me hear it again. Pretty weird. And you're telling me that came off an empty tape?
Yeah, we always use brand new tape. It gets very expensive.
That's pretty weird stuff. That has a kind of a weird. It has a weird sound to it, like it's coming through some dimension, or it's coming through some. Listen again. No, wait a minute. That's the next one. I've got to hear this again because it's got some sort of quality to it. I can't put my finger on it. Oh, that's really weird.
And with these voices, you gotta keep in mind they don't have the physical means that we do to produce sound.
As they don't have voice box.
Yeah, they don't have the vocal cords, so there's a bunch of theories on how they produce voices. One theory is using the electromagnetic field. One theory is they're using certain sound vibrations created by other objects. Even people's voices, they're using those vibrations to create their own voice. And that's a lot of why they sound really syllabic when they talk. They sound really distorted.
So there's no Ross Mitchells on the other side. In other words, we're all leveled on the other side.
I also think that it's a quality, an ability that they learn.
All right, this will be interesting because one thing I want to learn from all of this is whether the audience has heard any of these sounds. We get so many ghost stories, and I wonder if anything that we played tonight is going to resonate with any of the audience who will say, oh my God, I've heard that before. Or something like it.
This is, most of these voices that we record, we don't hear them at the time we record them. When we're out on an investigation, I always ask them to go to interact with us and join in our conversation. And there are times when we go out on an investigation and we get no voices, but when we do, that's one of the most exciting things to me is when we...
What percentage of the time do you get an answer? Just a rough guess.
Maybe at least 50% of the time.
Oh, that's a lot of the time.
It is.
A lot of the time.
And I think a lot of it is in our approach. We are very respectful of the places that we go. And you would not join in somebody's conversation if you weren't invited. The majority of people won't.
That's true.
And we always ask if there is anyone there that would like to talk with us or join in our conversation. We always invite them to talk with us.
All right, you two, track 2, what are we going to hear?
This was recorded in a old historic hotel that has had a lot of activity take place. A lot of the clients that stay there and staff have had ghost experiences there. And we were conducting an investigation in the hotel, and I was going to take a break and step outside. We had been in there for a couple of hours, and I recorded this voice responding, we're all down here.
We're all down here is what it says?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Indeed, it does appear to be saying, we're all down here. Listen, everybody, one more time. And that's coming off an empty tape. That would freak me out. That would definitely, absolutely freak me out. We're all down here. By the way, what is down here?
We were down in the basement.
That could have other, more sinister connotations. By the way, I've got one that I want you all to hear. This was a recording that alleges to be from the deepest hole ever drilled in the ground in Siberia. It alleges to be the voices from hell. We'll discuss hell a little bit, but just take a quick listen to this. This was recorded, allegedly, by scientists who had drilled a hole in Siberia and then lowered microphones into the hole. We have the whole newspaper story on the website, but listen to this.
They prove this is a fake.
Horrible. There's a little electronic voice phenomena for you. What do you think of that recording?
I've heard that once before, and I can't remember. I believe it was from your show.
No doubt.
A while ago when you played it.
That's right. Years, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it may have been. And I do, a while ago, I took that and ran it through the same voice rack that we used to do the DVDs with. And it's extremely interesting looking. Get some interesting tweets and stuff in it.
Well, it has a different sort of ring to we're all down here. We're all down here. And so then did you go to the basement?
We were conducting the investigation in the basement at the time when I said I'm going to go upstairs and take a break.
I see.
And I recorded that voice responding.
Always the basement. In any kind of movie, it's always the basement. And it's always a girl in a low-cut dress going straight down to the basement.
Well, this place has a lot of activity on many of the floors of the hotel. I think it's about 11 stories. It was built in the late 1800s and made several different names throughout the years, but it's quite a historic hotel, and they've had a lot of ghost activity take place in it.
Out of curiosity, how do hotels feel about that? You would think, I notice you haven't named it yet, I would think hotels would not be too crazy about having this kind of research go on within their walls.
You know, actually, the owner of this hotel has been really good with letting us in there. He you know, asked us to come in there. Anytime we want to go in there, he's great with us. I think he's just looking at it as more advertisement for the hotel.
Oh, that's really going to get me to just run right over there and get a room.
Well, there are a lot of people that go to places that have ghost activity in hopes of having an experience themselves.
Well, I suppose there would be that. For some reason, we like to be scared, don't we? Have you ever thought about that? Why we enjoy scaring the you-know-what out of ourselves?
Well, I think that a lot of it is the unknown. I do think that fear, we do get thrilled of having a fear element, take place, but there's ghost activity. When people usually have ghost activity, it's not something that they're looking for. And a lot of people, when they do have a ghost experience, it scares them because most of the times they can't rationalize what happened, what they experienced.
That's right.
It defies logical explanation, and it's something that it takes them by surprise, and they're shocked, and they get worried about it.
All right, clip 3, again coming from an empty tape, is what, please?
Well, this clip, actually, is one of my favorite voices that we've recorded. We recorded this, it was in northern Utah, it was an abandoned military hospital. I've heard that it was a mental hospital for military personnel. I've heard a bunch of different things on, why people were there in the hospital. It was recorded by one of the people who was out with us named Zane, and he was looking for Barbara at the time. Barbara apparently had left the building to go get some more equipment, and this voice comes in saying, "You little murdering tramp."
Really? All right.
Well, actually, it sounds quite psychotic if you listen to it.
All right, that's what we're going to do right now. Here we go. Little murdering tramps.
Yeah, see, he sounds quite scary.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's not, I don't like that one. One more time, folks, listen to this. This is this is recorded from an onto an empty tape. Oh, I don't like that one at all. Who do you think they were referring to?
I have no idea. He might have been extremely upset that we were even in the building in the first place. And this building was just, it was creepy. I was worried about getting a tetanus shot from it. People broken into it, vandalized, there's broken glass and metal all over the place. So, in fact, it was interesting. In this one room in this building, there was big letters writing on the wall, "He who enters this room will die by the master of Satan," and stuff like that.
And you went in?
Well, yeah.
People lost your mind? If there was a sign up there on a room like that, I would not. What was the sign said? What again?
The sign was big letters on the wall that said, "He who enters this room will die by the hand of the master of Satan."
You must be really fearless. That's all I can say. The master of Satan is great. All right, we've got time for another track number 4. What's coming up?
This was recorded as we were driving into a cemetery that we go to quite often. We were told about this place by a sheriff of the town that the cemetery is located in. And we usually go to the north end of the cemetery, and on this particular night,
Why the north end?
but we gotta have it. On this particular night, we turned and went the south way. And as soon as we enter into a cemetery or anything that we're going to investigate, I turn on my tape recorder because I've learned over the years that they get right in the vehicle with us as we're driving in. And
But one would presume that whether you have a recorder with you or not, that people are getting in with you when you drive into a cemetery, right?
it's obvious to me that they do just from the recordings we've got. And there's some...
All right, this came from the cemetery, folks. Here we go. What is that saying?
It says, go to your own place.
Place, really?
And I think that it's referring to going to the other end of the cemetery where we used to go.
Wait a minute, let me hear this again. That's going to take all the joy out of going to the cemetery. You know, I once in Kansas had the opportunity to go and walk upon the graves of the dolphins. You know, the dolphins, the famous dolphins. Yes, the Wild West dolphins. What they said.
You'll have to bring your tape recorder next time.
Tape recorder, that's right. All right, we have yet time for one more. This will be clip number 5. What's coming up?
All right, this one, there's been called to government testing or an investigation by Fox. They wanted to investigate Fort Douglas, which is a military camp here in Salt Lake.
You mean Fox TV network?
Yes. Okay. And so we're doing an investigation, and we took a very young child clip, and you can tell it's a child. Because it's dark in there. So what's interesting is the lights have just been turned on at the time he does it.
It's dark. All right, let's see what we've got. Oh, that was obviously a shot saying, and very clearly saying, it's dark in here.
Yes, and there was no children. This is like 5 in the morning. This building that's now a museum used to be a barracks.
It's dark in here. Why would a child, after death, you know, I guess it goes to the nature of what a lot of people think about God, but why would a child be subjected to something that would be scary for it? I'm sure you don't have the answers to this, but these are the questions that I ask as I listen to something like that.
Well, you know, it's interesting with these voice stations. A lot of the voices we record are children. And that may be surprising us when we listen to them.
All right, listen, we're coming towards the top of the hour. Stay right where you are, and we'll be right back to you. Electronic voice phenomenon. My guest will be with us next hour. Brendan Cook and Barbara Macbeth. And that's enough to get up and turn on the lights on. A child's voice. It's dark in here. We're doing electronic voice phenomena tonight, and again, if you're curious, these have all been recorded on empty tapes. So there's no chance that what you're hearing is some sort of pre-recorded thing that leaked through brand new tapes. So what do you think it is you're hearing? I'm Art Bell, and this is Coast to Coast AM. Brendan Cook and Barbara McBather here, the Ghost Investigator Society with electronic voice phenomena, and let me tell you, it's pretty creepy stuff. So I'll issue my standard warning after just hearing the first few. If this kind of stuff creeps you out, you might not want to listen. If it scares you, gives you chest pain, any other little problems that you might have when you listen to stuff like this, then you're going to want to tune out. Otherwise, the 2, or is it 4, we'll be back in a moment. What an appropriate sound for the Ghost Investigator Society. Back to Brendan Cook and Barbara McBather. You're back on, folks. And we only made it through 5 in the last hour, so I guess we're probably going to have to step up the pace here a little bit, but those are so creepy.
That's one of my favorite things about investigations is when they talk to us. I love it when they talk to us.
Why do you love that? I'm curious.
Because most of the time they're interacting with what we're doing, what we're saying. I think that's a really interesting aspect of this.
Do you believe, the two of you, just a discussion and dive back into this, do you believe that if somebody is a miserable son of a bitch in life, that they'll be that in death? Or do they suddenly become all warm and fuzzy when they get on the other side? Or on the other hand, if a person is a saint in this life, and I've known a few, interviewed a few, are they likely to be saintly on the other side?
I believe they say the same as they were on it. It was basically what it goes to. The same personality as the person that was life. So when they pass on, they're going to act exactly the same. So if they were extremely mean, say like Jeffrey Dahmer or something out there, that's how they're going to be in death.
That's not being happy.
Well, yeah.
And there's people in life that you avoid.
Yes, there are. All right, listen,
can't even changing after they die.
I understand. And that's why we're probably hearing both types of recordings. All right. Number 6, where are we going?
We're in that same cemetery. We recorded many voices in there, and on this particular one, me and my husband have stopped and grabbed a hamburger. I had said that I was going to throw the garbage away in a garbage can that was in there. I said to my husband, let me go and throw this garbage away. And I recorded this voice near Mark Wood. And I looked on the headphone since I recorded this voice trying to find this name. And there's a lot of Wood, the last name Wood, but I can't find the name Mark. So I don't know what this was referring to.
And so what is the voice going to say?
Near Mark Wood.
Near Mark Wood. All right, here we go. Near Mark Wood. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like near Mark Wood. So you try to find Mark Wood.
Yes, I've looked on every headstone. There's a lot of Wood buried there, but I can't find the name Mark.
So somebody was leading you to that for a reason. Were they?
I really don't know.
Would you want to know?
Yes, I would like to know.
You guys have guts. I mean, now, again, these are recorded on blank audio tapes. If I heard something like this come off a blank audio tape, I wouldn't be safe for a year.
Well, we've never been hurt or threatened.
Well, how about the one we played a little while ago? That's not kind of threatening.
Or you're just possible for calling them for me.
6 and 7. And it has 7. All right, track number 7. What do we got here?
Well, this is kind of an interesting one. We recorded this in a bookstore here called the Buck. And it's a lady's voice saying, "Is anybody here?" So what's interesting is if you were to go onto our website and download this,
Yes.
they downloaded this media player.
Yes.
If you hit the reverse button, it's interesting what comes up.
Forward says, "Is anybody here?" And then in reverse, what does it say?
It says, "You know you can hear us."
All right, here we go. That one's not as clear.
It's not. This one's actually extremely Philadelphia. I mean, it talks really Philadelphia.
But it's obviously a voice. There is no question about the fact that it's a voice where there should be nothing but a soft hiss.
Oh, yeah.
Or there will be no hiss at all. All right, number 8.
This one was recorded on that investigation report from Fort Douglas, and the curator had taken me down to the basement where they store a lot of their museum pieces, and it was just me and him down there, and I had asked, will you talk to me? And it's a woman's voice that responds yes, and I was really excited when I heard this voice when I was re-listening to my tape because I was voice but not a woman there. And I called the curator and told him that I had recorded a woman's voice when we had first gone down into the basement. And he said, that's really interesting. He said, because about 3 weeks ago I just found out that there were women and children that lived here when the court was first established. They called them women laundresses. And they were kept down in the basement because they were safer being in the basement than walking around on the fort ground.
So you asked, will you talk to me?
Yes.
And then you get a response.
Yes.
Here we go. Okay, so in the repeats, you just put the yes. I can hear you asking. Let's do it again. No. That's not true. Where were we? Number 8?
Yes.
Let's try this one. So, you got an immediate yes.
Yes. I was really thrilled that the woman's voice really shocked me. I was thinking to get a man.
What's that one?
Well, like I said, I called the curator and said, I heard the woman's voice. And that's because they got the laundry because they were screen.
That would be women who do laundry?
It was wives of soldiers. They weren't supposed to be there, but they were there.
So they might be there internally doing laundry.
Who knows why they're there? There are family members of the soldiers in the cemetery that are buried there on the fort grounds in the military fort cemetery.
All right, number 9.
Yeah, this one was recorded on that cemetery that was, we get the majority of these voices.
You all spend a lot of time in cemeteries, don't you?
Yeah, we do, and we get a lot of results out of it.
Okay, but I understand you don't really get the results, but, it pains me to think that when I die, I'm going to be hanging around my headstone if I'm buried. And that is essentially what we're saying here, isn't it?
Well, go to a theory, and I can't remember who brought up this theory, but you tend to stay by your body. If you end up becoming an earthbound spirit, a ghost, you stay where your body is at, or you at least return to where your body is at.
Great. All right, so we're in a cemetery, and this says what?
This one is just interesting. Barbara's husband, Roger, was looking for his, the bug spray. It was in the summer, so there was a lot of bugs. He was looking for the bug spray, and his drink, he was motioning to Barbara for it. And this voice says, Roger, back near the car and kind of giggles at the end.
What's your... That just creeps me out, and it's the quality of the audio that is creeping me out. My God, that's awful. What do you all think causes that? What to call that sound?
There's a lot of, especially in that one, there's a lot of the clicking and the popping and, the background noise. I think it's just from being transferred from, tape to digital and then onto the CD.
Well, digital to CD shouldn't cause any erosion of the original.
And, it may just be from the tape to, I don't know. I mean, we know that a lot of the voices, there's a lot of weird sounds to the voice.
It's kind of like a Doppler effect.
Yes, it is. It's like it's having a hard time coming to our atmosphere, or like how you feel underwater.
That's right. There you go. It's just kind of like underwater. Yeah, kind of like underwater. That's pretty close. All right, number 10.
Number 10, we were in that same cemetery. We had witnessed a ghost light visually. We had seen a ghost light in the cemetery on 3 different occasions, and we were talking about it on this particular night.
What kind of light, I'm curious?
It was the size of a baseball almost when it first started, and as it came down the road, it got smaller and smaller, and it was passing by us, and we asked it to please come over to us, and it stopped, and it came over to us. It blinked out and on. We don't have self-illuminating insect here. It's very dry. And
this was like a board.
yes, but it got very small. It straight down to a very small size. It was very, when it came between me and Brendan, it was very intense white with orange and blue, and that reminded me of an electrical.
Did this thing move between you?
Yeah.
In the cemetery.
In fact, it landed on Brendan's back.
It landed on his back.
Yes.
Well, it was interesting. I got down on my stomach to take a picture of this thing.
Have you two lost your mind?
Well, this is what we do. I mean,
I understand. I guess.
So, but I got down to take a picture of it, and I didn't see it for a while, and everyone was behind me, and they just suddenly, it's on your back.
It's on your back.
Yeah, I'm up, and as I got up, I saw it blink out of the corner of my eye and snapped a picture of it, and we do have the picture posted on the website.
So if they want to see the picture of this, it's on your website, which we have a link to. All right, and then you...
But anyway, we were talking about this experience, and I recorded this voice, a woman's voice that said Ivan, and I don't know if she's referring to the ghost light, because that's what we were talking about. I believe that she was saying who it was that we saw.
Either that or the orb was going to do a crazy eye. I don't know if you ever heard of it. All right, here it comes. Now, I don't hear it saying Ivan. Is that what that said?
It could be Ivan, but I think I hear the B sound, Ivan.
I'm not hearing Ivan in that. I'm not sure what I'm hearing there. Obviously a voice, but I'm not sure what it's saying. I'm not sure it's saying Ivan. Okay, number 11.
All right, this one I'm sure you can guess where this one was recorded. The same place the last few voices. What's interesting about this one, this is only loop one, so it's a good 7-second clip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's interesting because you hear us talking in the background and this whistling comes in. And it starts, I don't know if you heard in this clip or not, but it starts from far away and just gets louder, it gets closer, and then just passes us.
So the whistling ghost will call you.
Yeah.
All right.
Like somebody strolling by, whistling, and what's interesting too is I'm the only one that recorded this. There was other recorders going at this time, and I'm the only one that
Got it.
recorded this.
Oh, now that is interesting. All right, here we go. The whistling ghost. Yes, that was too clear. I heard I don't know if I call it a whistle. I heard the noise increasing in volume and obviously getting closer to you. Are you two ever in fear? I mean, how can you hear this stuff and occasionally not? You must be freaked out occasionally.
Well, I have a tendency to be more afraid of noise.
Really?
Yeah. I worry about our safety when we go to certain locations from the elements of, from the location of the places that we go.
Are there people that don't like what you do?
Yeah, and a lot of people don't believe it. Because we aren't selling anything. I really don't care if anybody knows it or not.
Oh, I hear you.
We aren't selling a thing. We're doing research, and this is the result of the things that we document at the time.
Well, there's a lot of religious beliefs that suggest once you're dead, you're dead. There's no communication, there's no anything, there's no piercing the veil or coming across or pictures that wink at you or voices that talk at you or anything else. You're dead, and those people would be angry.
Well, what's interesting is in the 50s, there was two priests that came across what's called ghosting. And the Vatican is actually sent to him ethical research. Really? And as far as I know, it's within the research.
So the Vatican's looking into this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. In fact, the Pope at the time, I don't remember his name, was completely aware of it.
Okay, number 12.
This one, we were doing a restaurant. It used to be a very large, beautiful rock cabin up in one of the canyons of Utah, and it has been turned into a restaurant. And we were conducting an investigation there, and I had asked, is there anything that you need? And I recorded this voice with just two of us.
Two of us? Do you have any idea what that meant?
No, not unless it was just referring that there's more than one.
All right, here we go. Let's see what you think. Two of us. Is there something you need? Two of us. I wonder what that's. How many times? Oh, like when you get something like this, how many times is it unclear what's trying to be said from the other side? Well, is it most times, or do you suddenly sometimes go, wow, look at that headstone, obviously that's where it came from?
A lot of times it is unclear. I mean, it's something that we just listen to over and over and over again, and finally, the group is come to a common medium of what we think is being said, or what we think is being said at the time. But there are times when it's just, completely clear, and sometimes they're lighter and clearer.
Okay, you two, hold it right there. We'll be right back. This is the song that'll get in your head. Won't let go.
When the wind blows.
From the high desert, you're listening to Electronic Voice Phenomenon on Coast to Coast AM.
Well, rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the rain will rock. Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop.
Each to the Rockies 1 may overtake 255033. First time callers may rejoin at 1-775-727-1242. The title card line is open at 1-775-727-1235. And to call on the toll-free international line, call your AT&T operator and have them dial 800-893-0903. This is Coast to Coast AM with our Bill from the Kingdom of Knox.
Well, Brendan Cook and Barbara Macbeth rushing where I definitely wouldn't tread, not after the first couple of recordings. Are you listening to this? They are the Ghost Investigator Society, or at least one of it, and they do these recordings on empty audio tapes at interesting places like schools, cemeteries, and places like that. We'll get right back to it. Yeah, let's turn on that recording. All right, once again, here they are, where angels fear to tread. Actually, angels may tread on some of the same territory they do. Brendan Cook and Barbara Macbeth with the Ghost Investigators Society. How many people are in your society, by the way?
Well, the society is only 5 people. Me and Barbara, Jenny and her husband, and one of the members there.
How about if you count all the voices?
I don't know if I count them as members of the society, but they definitely count them.
All right, we're up to number 13, and we're not going as fast as I thought. We have 30 times. So, number 13, folks.
All right, this one, me and my husband were in the cemetery, and we're walking down this road, and in this clicker right there, all you say, he's just walking around. And then right after that, you hear the voice say, take care of Brendan.
Take care of Brendan? Really? All right, here it comes. Absolutely, clearly says, take care of Brendan. What do you think that meant, Brendan?
You know, the only thing I could think of is maybe a question about church. Is that it?
Did you take that part as a woman?
I don't know. I haven't, but it definitely would make the day.
Me either, Brendan. See you on the other side. All right, number 14.
This one was recorded by Jenny. Brendan had asked my husband Roger to go down the road with him. And Roger was joking around and said, do I have to kick some spiritual butt? And this voice responded and said, yeah, well, let's go watch.
Oh, really? All right, let's hear it. Here we go. Yeah, let's go. Let's rock. Let's have at it. How do you get into a fight with the spirit?
I don't know. I think this guy was ready to kick some butt.
Human butt, spirit butt. Boy, that would be some fight to see. I guess we just see some guy, we see the spirit, so we just see something tumbling around the ground.
I think it's neat how their personalities come through. I mean, every one of them have a definite personality.
You really are making a very good point. The strength of the personalities coming through. Some in screams, some in whispers, some in threats, in all different manners. That's a very good point. Very good point. And remember, folks, recorded on empty audio tape. So this is no mistake of crosswalk or something not quite erased or any of the rest of it. This is voices that are appearing on tapes from nowhere, at least nowhere that we know of. All right, number 15.
This one is really interesting because it's one that's directed right to what we're talking about. Barbara has recorded a voice, and we were all sitting around her as she was playing this voice for us, and we were trying to figure out what this voice said. And this man's voice comes in, and he says, it says Arthur.
It says Arthur. So you threw this one in for me, didn't you?
I would appreciate it.
All right, let's hear it. Well, clearly, yes, Arthur is what was said. Yikes.
You can kind of hear his frustration. He's trying to tell us what it says.
Frustration would also be something that somehow you wouldn't expect on the other side, indicating that the other side is not all that different than this side in producing the kinds of emotions that are flowing.
Right.
Wow. All right, number 16.
This was recorded by Barry, and it was in a old theater that we recorded several odd things in this place. They call their song George. But this is a German language, and I've been told by a couple of different people. One guy told us that I have no idea what it's saying, but one guy said that it was the national German. It wasn't the dialect of German or anything. It was the original natural German language, and it's talking about freedom.
So what we're going to hear is in German, so we'll have an understanding, right?
No, the first part of this story is the original recording straight from the tape recording. So it is extremely soft, there's a lot of background noise in it. The second two parts of this story has been cleaned up and amplified by 10 decibels.
All right, here we go. Well, of course, I can't understand exactly what's being said. Maybe somebody who speaks German could.
We have no idea what it's saying.
All right.
And it sounds like German.
It certainly was a voice, though.
Yes.
All right. Number 17.
This one is recorded by Barbara at the Mausoleum that we go to. And, yeah, there's like the best in the graveyard.
Well, sure. Why not have a little variety of mausoleum every now and then?
But this one is extremely clear. It's one of the best, clearest, loudest voices we have. Everybody could walk inside of the mausoleum and then Barbara was still outside. And this voice just says, hello, I'll come back.
Hello, I'll come back.
Almost like he was breaking into the...
He might be a PR guy.
All right, let's hear it. Oh, God, you're right. That's too clear. When you get something like this, particularly something with this clarity, do you attempt to follow up? Do you attempt to get more conversation?
Yes. In fact, every time I go back there, I will where I recorded this, I'll go to that location and ask him when you come back. But I haven't recorded anything.
Well, maybe he's back. He's singing it. Number 18 coming up.
This one, a truck pulled into a cemetery and it just sat there for quite a while. And I think on the beginning of this, you'll hear me say what the license number. And he was really too far away for us to see. But I recorded this voice. It either says 59 or 19.
Meaning trying to get part of the license plate?
Right.
All right, let's see if we can hear what it says. Sounds like 59 to me.
That's what I think it sounds like 59. But others in the group says that they think it should be saying 19.
Well, either way, that's contemporary information, man. That's something I've been working on for a while here in my mind. In other words, if a ghost was just a big way back to this thing, we wouldn't expect to get any contemporary information. But what I'm hearing tonight is full of contemporary information.
Yes, they're astounding.
They really are astounding. I mean, we sit here playing these, but then I realize, folks, these are coming out of nothing, out of the air, out of the other side, wherever it is.
And they are definitely interacting with us.
All right, number 19.
Number 19. this one's interesting. This goes back to what you mentioned earlier. We get a lot of children divorces. This one was reported by Barbara, and I mean, this almost was difficult for a child standing up from candy. And what's interesting is we do bring candy and alcohol because we know how many children we get. So even though we know they can't smell or taste it, but they can know what it is and use their memory if they're the children they still have it. And we leave it to them.
Okay, and we leave it. And let's see if we can hear this. Now that sounded like something else to me. What was it saying again?
I believe it says got some candy.
I'm not sure I get that. Let me try that one again. Well, there's no point I'm hearing something, but I'm not sure I'm hearing the same thing at all. But this, I guess it's all some of the ones that are not as clear are somewhat subjective.
Right, but there are some voices, people hear different things. But the case is that there is a voice that shouldn't be there.
Oh, no question about that. No question about that. Number 20.
This one, we were in that one cemetery, and me and my husband were in our convertible, and the cemetery had its sprinkler system on, and I was worried about it being an automatic sprinkler. And you'll hear me say, I don't know where it's going to be watering next. And the voice is right here.
Right here? Oh, really? Okay, let's hear this.
I just don't know where it's going to be watering next. I just don't know where it's going to be watering next. I just don't know where it's going to be watering next.
Y'all are out of your mind.
The interesting thing is that the whole time we were there, it never did water right there.
Really? Do you ever get warnings that do come true or messages that do manifest themselves in some way so that you know you were told something?
We do. Like the one that we just played, track 9, which is Roger back near the car.
Right.
I mean, that's where his bus spray and drink was. They were just on the bumper of their car.
So a helpful spirit.
Well, yeah, that, and I mean, that goes back to the interaction of, you know, they can at least understand what we're saying.
We are aware of us.
I know that you're not going to be able to answer this, but what percentage of spirits of those who have passed on do you think linger? Any idea?
I don't believe everybody stays at the ghost.
So there are some who proceed on to where they're supposed to go, whatever that is.
Well, I believe there's actually quite a few that do. I mean, I don't think, I know it's definitely not the majority of the people that pass on stay at ghost.
Good. All right, number 21.
Number 2, this one's very interesting. Roger, where the person was referring to a word that we picked up earlier. That was the Viking voice that we had played earlier.
Yes.
And this voice was in with Marco Polo.
And I think he was joking around.
Marco Polo, huh? All right, let's see if we can hear Marco Polo. Very clear, too clear. Marco Polo. Did you think that was a joke?
And he was being sarcastic.
You've almost, you know, as we've gone through it, we've almost gone through every range of emotion you can imagine. And get voices from the other side.
Right, and you can clearly hear it.
And yet you still feel that as time passes on for any spirit of a dead person, the personality begins to disintegrate or change.
You know, I think they pass on as time passes. I think they almost, I'm not even sure how to say this. I mean, they realize people, they have a wider perception of things that we, as humans, being alike, can possibly understand. And I think that's what changes their personality.
They grow.
Yes.
They begin to discover something
Well, we wouldn't even
really,
yeah.
We're so limited in our physical presence, you know, and it's hard for a lot of people to even think of not having physical thinking, or it's more mind and mental.
you know how important this is to people. I mean, so many people have lost relatives and lost loved ones. And they have an intense curiosity about what has become of them. This means a very great deal to a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, in fact, we had one guy ran into our website, and I believe one of their youth, he was just, I guess his mom had passed away, and he was worried because his house started happening in his house, hunting activities, and he talked to a friend about it, and his friend had said that it was his mom and she had become a demon, that she was there to hurt him, and yeah, so he had written about it. Just being frantic, and there were other than that, just because she passed away, there was just something that she wasn't finished.
There might be concern out of, for her family, that they're welfare, making sure that they're okay, after she's passed.
All right, I don't wish to be morbid, but I think this is an important question. Do you all notice that you're able to get more EVP when you go to a cemetery and to an area where there are recently dead and buried people versus going to a cemetery where people died in the 1800s, the early 1900s? Have you noticed any difference?
No, me personally, I think I've noticed the difference with the newer cemeteries that we do get more activities, and I don't know if that's maybe because there's more energy, whether it's emotional energy from the person passing, from the family members that were just recently there. That's just my own personal theory, but I do notice with newer places we go to that have newer arrivals, we do get activity.
Do you agree with that, Bob?
I don't know, because we've gone to some cemeteries that are old pioneer cemeteries. The location where the cemetery is very small. They don't have that many burials, and just because of the size of the land. And we have gotten, to me, just as much interaction as what we have in New York.
Do you encounter at times the living in the cemeteries? In other words, people coming to visit the graves of people that you're trying to get a lot of electronic voice phenomena from? Are you ever challenged?
Whenever challenged, although we do occasionally encounter people who are coming to visit, relatives that they have in the grave. The voice that we played with 5-9 referring to the license plate numbers.
Right.
What has happened is that truck, you notice, the cemetery is a part in this upper road of the cemetery. And it was just night after night when we were there, this car was coming at the same time, parked there, stayed for about half an hour to leave. So it turns out that man's son is buried where he's been parking. And it's something that he's been, trying to deal with and moaning over, he comes there every night. And it almost makes me wonder if maybe it's his son living in the license plate.
Have you ever wondered whether it might not be the dead relatives rather than living using this? Does it cross your minds?
Most of the time when we go to a location like a cemetery, we will go at night time after most people don't go.
Oh, great. That's even a better
We're there, sometimes like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
That's great time. Okay, hold on. We're at the top of the hour, so hold it right there. We'll be right back.
1-618-8255. East of the Rockies, 1-800-825-5033. First-time callers may reach out at 1-775-727-1222. Or use mobile phone line at
775-727-1222. Good morning, I'm Art Bell. My guests are Brendan Cook and Barbara McBeth from the Ghost Investigator Society, GIS. We'll be right back. Wasn't there an old saying, something about whistling past the graveyard? Riffing back to that whistling graveyard. Anyway, back to my guests, Brendan Cook and Barbara McBeth. Welcome back to Whistling Past the Graveyard. All right, well, anyway, listen, I've got a question from a listener, Gary in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Says, hi, Art, I've been listening to most of the show this morning, and I'm curious as to what type of recording equipment they use if they are willing to say original creepy stuff. So, do you use different types of recording equipment, or specifically, what do you use? Obviously, people are going to want to try this at home.
Right, and, we encourage people to do this. I mean, what we're really doing is to get people to research this more than what we'll ever be able to do. We use, like I said before, we do use microcassette recorders just because they're easier to handle, they're portable. That's what we use external mic just to cut down background noise, the motor noise and such. The microcassette recorders we use were the DTM 920 iOS recorders. They come in really clear, they're really good for recording.
They have a counter so that we know exactly where the voice is on the tape.
All right, okay. So that's the equipment you use, and what kind of tape do you use?
Well, we use all kinds of MRX, TDK, Panasonic, doesn't matter.
One thing I've just found out is any of the common outside tape has a tendency to bleed and duplicate voices.
Really?
And I just recently found this out, and I believe we've used them a couple of times and just never had some fixing this out.
I've always used either MRX or TDK.
Okay. All right, well, that gives everybody out there an idea of what you use, how you do it. So let's proceed. Number 22.
This one was recorded at the train station that's now a museum. And me and my husband were just leaving from the investigation. We were out in the parking lot. And I was gabbing with my husband, who was already in the car. And I was putting my equipment in the car. And this voice sweared at me and said, please sit down.
Did it use a swear word that I can't hear?
Well, I don't know.
What does it start with?
Yes.
4 letters?
Yeah.
All right, well,
You hear it every day.
yeah, I think everybody knows what we're talking about. So did you, everybody knows what you're talking about. So did you leave that out, what we're going to hear, or you just
There. We have no control over what
it's there? All right, well, neither do I. Here we go. Everybody listen. All right, what I heard was the S word, he's dead. That's what it sounded like to me. What did you hear?
I hear it telling me to please sit in. And I also...
Really? All right, now hold on. Let's review this one more time. All right, hold on. my mind got fixed on hearing that. And that's what I heard each time. I don't know. But you thought I told you to sit down.
Yes.
So, you know, what's interesting about this is for quite a while, we actually kind of put out. And we just, a while ago, figured out
That
that
was
first one was.
yeah, it didn't sound that like me. Okay, number 23.
Alright, this one was reported by Barbara and Linda. They were in the cemetery by themselves. We went with them on this occasion. And they were the only ones in their car. That's another example of them getting in the car with them. They were driving around the cemetery, and Roger Barbara on camera. And Roger says, which one is that? And Barbara says, it's the one. And then this voice breaks in louder than Barbara. It's a female voice, and Barbara was a female. So almost dead. Almost dead. Yeah, and then Barbara says, almost music. And they think the almost dead is referring to the old time saying if something's almost used, it's almost dead.
Alright, let's see what we got. You're right, that's a louder voice than hers, far in the background, and very clear, and definitely saying almost dead. And I hope it was referring to him.
I thought it was interesting how she just broke in between my sentence.
Yeah. I mean, it could be referring to the first time I got, you got the cemetery of a lady saying, I'm completely dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like she's had a self-realization and she's just realized that she's dead.
Now, you do spend a great deal of time in cemeteries, but obviously other haunted places are good. What about places that are not haunted at all? Are you very unlikely to get something? You can have somebody planning or just none of the work has got very little spent, no bad stories. Are you going to hear a voice there?
Yeah, this is something that's just come up with just recently been after, we just recently did an investigation of a brand new home. In fact, it hasn't been all the way built yet.
Yeah.
And we came up with some really interesting stuff in the house. And what's interesting is we have a picture on the website from a house that's not even 2 blocks away from that somebody was, you know, photographed it come to us. So we don't know if it's something about that area or
Maybe the ground.
well, we thought because it's not a fault line, I mean, maybe there's some geophysical energy taking place that's maybe helping this stuff manifest, or, I mean, who knows?
All right, number 24.
This one was quite interesting. I had been in the cemetery and I was reading an old military headstone. It had all the information about the troops, the guy that died in World War II. Everything was there except for what company he was in. And I recorded a voice saying a company. Well, later on, at a different time, my husband Roger was telling people about the voice that we had recorded, and he inadvertently said Company A was proud, you know, telling about that voice. And had changed it from A company to Company A, and I recorded this voice repeating him saying Company A.
Here we go.
What's there? Company A. What's there? Company A. What's there? Company A.
Oh, that's really freaky. And you guys never get bothered doing this work.
Never. I find it one of the most fascinating things.
This is why we do it, is to record the things that we do.
Have you made a pact between you? Should one of you go first? Group involved.
I wouldn't mind staying around and being a ghost. I think it could be kind of entertaining, although I don't know. I think it shows that we do have a choice. We are able to make choices in life, and I think
You hang around.
it shows that we are still able to make choices in death.
Brendan, how about you?
kind of felt the same way as Arnold, and I haven't given it a lot of thought. I guess maybe I probably would have for a while.
My husband, nobody just want to stay. When he dies, he wants to go where we're supposed to go.
I'm with you. It's me too. I especially don't like the concept of being around the hips.
And I don't know, if we go to locations where we don't go out looking at places where there's no reported activity going, we usually go to locations where activity is being reported.
I mean, why, for example, would a soul which has left the body, or the life force, or whatever you want to call it, hang around a missing place like the old rotten away body instead of taking off and doing all kinds of exotic things? That's just a mystery to me.
You know, I don't know, maybe it just they have to return to the body, the soul has to return to the body for some reason. Detective, I mean, there could be a number of reasons why. But it seems like even if they do travel other places, they always return to their body.
Yeah, right, but there's a natural process. I mean, what are you going to guard? You going to get worm guard or something?
Yeah, I don't know why. This particular cemetery is extremely active, although recently it doesn't seem like it's as active now as what it was when we first went there. And I don't know if maybe us going there and talking and discussing things amongst ourselves as we're investigating, they come to realize that they are dead and have moved on.
All the things not dead. All right, number 25, folks.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
This one is kind of neat. Margaret's husband was husband. You hear Margaret's husband say, sitting right there. And directly after you hear this voice say, sitting right there. And then it sounds like an exhale right after.
Exhale.
Yeah, and I don't see the reason for an exhale. I mean, it doesn't have the physical lungs to produce the sound.
All right, here we go. I don't like that.
We've recorded his voice a number of times at that location.
Yeah, but there's something about that articulation that
I kind of wonder if it's the energy that it is using somehow, because that
you mean the energy to produce the communication.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they do breathe. Breathing is an involuntary thing that you do all your life. Wouldn't you tend to keep up it's kind of like having your finger or your arm cut off. They tell me they have a ghost arm for a long, long time. Why wouldn't you ghost breathe for a while?
Well, and that could be, it could be from memory, because I've recorded that sound many times, and I know that you don't need to breathe after you're dead, and it could be from a memory thing.
Well, if they don't know they're dead, they're going to keep breathing.
Well,
That's pretty good, bet, right?
yeah, that's true.
All right, number 26.
This one was recorded in that train station, and it sounds like a child. And we were talking to the maintenance man that's had a lot of ghost activity take place there, and I was explaining a previous child's voice that I had recorded at this location, and I recorded this child's voice saying, "Come to Papa."
All right, here we go. Yes, I can hear talking.
If you know, the shepherd almost sounds like it has a slight accent.
Yes, I agree. And that is as it would be, I suppose. In other words, here in the U.S., even in the U.S., you hear a lot of people with accents, fairly recent immigrants, that sort of thing. So why wouldn't you have a mix on the other side as well?
it makes sense.
All right, I want to leave enough time in this hour to get some calls in. Number 27.
This one, I'll just make it quick. Barbara has been lighting up her cigarette at the time this was recorded. And the subject is always breaking.
Always breaking. Meaning what, do you think?
Yeah, we don't know. We've had some ideas on what it might mean.
We've been thinking that maybe it seems, since we're in Mormon country, breaking the word of wisdom.
I forgot to ask you where you all are. Where are you?
In Utah.
In Utah. Very good point. All right, here we go. Maybe they meant to have it.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, number 28.
This one's very interesting. This voice has identified himself on two different occasions. You'll hear my husband say, referring to the one Marco Polo, he says, "Are you Marco Polo or Lewis?" Because Lewis had identified himself on a previous occasion. And the voice responds, "I'm Lewis."
I'm Lewis, really. All right, here we go.
Are you the one that wants to come out? Are you the one that wants to come out? Are you the one that wants to come out?
Very clear. Lewis, I'm Lewis. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. What a strange thing to do for a hobby or a living or both. How are people able to communicate with you all?
Well, they can contact us directly through the website.
I'm talking about this woman, yes.
Oh, okay.
Through your website?
Yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of us is just email the website at the bottom of the homepage. There's a link to email us or find the guest book, any one of those ways works.
And there are also, in fact, we hold meetings sometimes in the local library. We have people, the library knows about us, and local residents here, when they've had ghost activity take place, and they've gone to the library to try to find information on ghosts, and if the library happens to find out what they're doing, they'll refer them.
That's in your little town, right? All right. Do you have a specific email address anyway?
We do. It's GIS
at
ghostfix.com.
At ghost, GHOSTPIX.com, right?
That's it.
GIS at ghostfix.com, right? I think people have it, so you'll have to get a lot of emails, I imagine. Very quickly, number 29.
Alright, this one was recorded in that same train station. I think it was on the same night as the last two of them. In this one section of the train station, you can smell a residual burning smell from when part of the train station burnt down. And it keeps appearing, and another child's voice comes in and says, "Liz, get scared." Not scared, but scared.
Was just scared. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I hear it clearly. I hear it too clearly. Was just scared. Scared. All right, we've got one last, and then I want to go to the phone lines. What is the last one? 30.
And this one was recorded outside of the mausoleum, and it sounds to me like two different voices greeting each other, saying hi.
So neither one of these are contemporary humans?
That's correct.
All right, here we go. It's hard for me to tell out of all of them what is my favorite, which might mean which is the most scary. I have no idea. What I would like to do when we get back from the break, you two, is to take some calls from listeners for about a half hour. Would that be all right?
That sounds good.
All right, good. By now, they've had a pretty good sampling of what you all do. graveyards. I don't spend a lot of time in graveyards. How about you? And think about it. I mean, really think about it. Would you go to a graveyard and spend time with a recorder trying to get recordings, the voices of the dead? Would you do that? Well, I guess they say somebody has to. And it's the Ghost Investigators Society that does it. I'm Art Valdez. It's Coast to Coast AM.
Take a ride? Call Art Bell from west of the Rockies at 1-800-618-8255. East of the Rockies at 1-800-825-5033. First time callers may reach out at area code 775-727-1222. Or call the wildcard line at 775-727-1295. To talk with Art on the toll-free international line, call your AT&T operator and have them dial 800-893-0903. This is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
Moody River, you took my baby from me. I wonder if you were to go near that river or to that river where she was leaping in muddy waters, whether she'd have something to say about it. I don't know. Cold in here. Wet in here. But then again, one doesn't want to believe that somebody, although that would be a suicide, that special soul would remain at the place. We'll be right back. Once again, Barbara Macbeth and Brendan Cook of the Ghost Investigators Society, electronic voices from the other side. That's what we have been listening to tonight. You two, welcome back.
Thank you.
One quick question for either one or both, and then we'll go to the phones. It's Mike in Houston, Texas, who asks on our Fast Blast, I wonder if your guests have tried recording from a morgue or hospital, CCU, right after death. I bet there's some good stuff there. I work in a critical care unit, so I may try to record right after I'm passing. What do you think?
You know, we thought about that, and the one time we had the opportunity to do it, we run into a morality thing. You know, I think there's 2 points in people's lives that shouldn't be videotaped, audio taped, or anything, and that's the moment of birth and the moment of death.
Oh, I thought we were going to say marriage. Here we go. Let's take some calls. First time caller line, you're on the air with Barbara Macbeth and Brendan Cook.
Yeah, Art, how you doing, Brenda? Barbara, I'm glad I got in. I got right through. 2 points. One is on number 10 on your disc there. I think that voice is saying behind us. Behind us, I believe, but it's so fast that you can hardly pick it up.
Behind us. What did you think it was saying?
Behind us.
No, I don't. No, I meant Brendan and Barbara.
No, we thought it was saying hi them, but what's interesting is we found that they talk syllabically, and neither one is 2 syllables.
All right, everybody quiet for a moment. Let's listen to this and see if we can decide for ourselves. Here it is. 10, number Jared. You know, he's right. That could be behind us or behind.
It could, because I've never because of the name Ivan, which is what I hear.
All right, caller, good shot there.
Yeah, Art, one more thing, please.
Sure.
I'm out of state. I'm from Muskogee, Oklahoma, but I'm up here in Wisconsin. I'm listening to you now.
Right.
You have a station out of Tulsa that carries you, do you know?
We do. I think it's Tulsa, huh? I think KTOK, I'm not sure. I just got to check my list.
Okay, I'm going to try KTOK when I get back home. Well, thank you very much, Art.
All right, and keep listening on the air there. Let's see if, while we're at it here. Hold on. Let's see. Tulsa. Well, I'm finding. All right, we'll keep looking and continue with the calls. A wild card line, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, good morning. It did sound like behind, by the way. Anyway, I was going to ask your guest, have they traveled to like foreign countries and have gone through their cemeteries and different places, or have they collaborated with anybody else in foreign countries to see if this phenomenon is true? The reason why I bring it up, I know they have that German book. I was just wondering, are people picking this up in other countries in their native tongues?
Very good question. Have y'all ever traveled overseas and done this?
You know what, we haven't, but I do know, especially in Germany, there is a lot of research going on into that. And it's, of course, more common to find the language of that country. I mean, the common language of that country. However, just like here, I mean, there's other people that speak different languages, and occasionally we do pick them up.
So the dead are not like air traffic controllers, which have to speak English.
We have recorded French, we've recorded Spanish, and German. The English is the most common because we're here in the United States and that's what we record.
Makes the most sense to me. All right, caller, there you are. And for the previous caller, KTOK is in Oklahoma City, and in Tulsa, it's KQLL. That's KQLL in Tulsa. All right. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with the Ghost Folks.
Oh, yes, this is Dan, and I'm calling from Johnson today. I have a couple of questions. Have you ever thought of going to the grave of someone that you knew when they were physically alive, was blind, and then bringing a piece of braille that you had not had read to you and asked the ghost to read that braille?
Ooh, that's a weird one.
That's a good thing to try. I have not known anyone that was blind, so that thought never even occurred to me. But I might try to find out, do some research and try to find a person that was.
Do you ever get recordings that are greater than a sentence or a couple of words?
Yeah,
we do. We've done a couple.
Most of the time, well, we've gotten some, we played some sentences here.
Yes.
But I think the longest one that we recorded was at Fort Douglas. And in one of the, well, it was the museum that used to be a barracks.
Yes.
And it says, the man said, I ain't ever seen anything that can compare to this.
All right, so it usually then comes in relatively either single words, 2 words, or at the most a sentence. That's generally true.
Yes.
Then that must mean that it takes a great amount of energy or effort or whatever is expended to get it from there to here.
Exactly.
I believe it is. You know, and we need scientific explanations for these things. I would love to see mainstream science recognize that there is something here and do some good scientific research. We're very limited on our funds because we fund ourselves.
Right.
But there are definitely presences around us, and I think that if we could get mainstream science involved, I
So you're
everyone on my page.
You're not afraid of mainstream science. You would invite them. You would invite an investigator along.
By all means, I would love mainstream science to get interested in this.
Okay. All right, West of the Rockies, you're on the air with the GIS group.
Hi. Hello. How you doing? Great to have you back, Art. Thank you. Hi, Barbara. Hey, Brendan. This is Josh from Seattle. Something really crazy. Okay, this tonight's show really interested me because something that happened about 2 months ago. Well, it was late night, and I was recording a compact disc onto a blank tape from my stereo, and I fell asleep, and the CD had finished recording, and the tape, there was still more tape left. And I listened to the CD afterwards, and I wanted to tape more stuff onto the blank space that was remaining on the tape. And I could distinctly hear somebody sobbing their eyes up, going, "Tell them I love them, and I did not do it." And I've let a couple of my friends and a few of my family members listen to this, and they can hear it too. And I just didn't want to bring this to anybody else, out of fear of them calling me a crackpot or something. And I was just wondering, is there any way I could possibly send this tape to you or something like that?
If you have the ability to maybe transfer it to a WAV file, I just, we almost voice file, you could send it directly to the site. We could look at it and run it through our graphic line.
All right, so it's GIS at GhostPix, that's P-I-X, G-H-O-S-T, P-I-X, GIS at ghostpix.com, right? And you like WAV files?
Yes.
Did you do that, Paul?
Yes, I think I can. I have one more quick question before I go.
Sure.
Surely all of us have seen the movie The Sixth Sense, right?
Yes.
Okay, we all remember the part where he listens to that tape and he hears the voice.
Yes.
Did that happen to alert you to Barbara, Brendan, any when you first seen that?
We had been doing that way before we ever saw the movie.
Oh, well, I know that one. Did it, cause you to take alert and go, wait a minute?
Yeah, it was interesting. In fact, another movie that deals with it is The Changeling.
Okay, I've never seen it.
The same kind of thing happened.
Yeah, but nothing quite affected me like The Sixth Sense. They really managed.
That movie was done very well. Whoever made that movie and wrote it knew about ghosts. I thought how it was portrayed was done very well.
Well, rarely does a movie bowl me over right at the end, but at the end of The Sixth Sense, I just sat there going, oh no.
Well, the thing that really gets me is this was not a movie, this is real life, and for the next couple of nights, I just couldn't sleep, to tell you the honest to God truth. I listened to it maybe 10, 15 times. You can distinctly hear somebody, it sounds like they're sobbing their eyes out, and it goes, "Tell them I love them, and I didn't do it."
Have you ever had ghost activity take place there that you're aware of?
Aside from the normal creaks and such of the house, nothing really. The thing that really got me was, I was completely alone in my home at the time.
Right.
There was nobody else in the house.
You might want to try taping your, there and asking questions and see if you get a reply. Let them know that you heard them and ask if there's anything that you can do for them. And see if you get a response.
Yeah,
because you live in an apartment or a home?
I live in a home. I was going to say because, they must be reasonable. If they're reasonable before, they must be reasonable after.
Yes, that's true.
One quick thing before I go. What two brands of tape did you say you used? Because I'm going to go out and get one of the two as soon as possible.
I, myself, use either Memorex, the cassette Memorex tape, or TDK.
Right. And those have worked out the best for you.
For me, yes.
It's a matter of how much noise is on them or what.
My preference is the Memorex. I've never had a better problem with Memorex tape.
Good advertisement for that. All right, Wildcard Line, you're on the air with the GIS group. Hello.
Hi, this is Tim from St. Louis, listening on 97.1.
97.1, our new point, St. Louis FM. Yes, sir.
Yes, it's great. I've got a great story for you. I've been interested in this since 1992 because a voice phenomenon did happen to me on a tape while I was speaking with a psychic. and she was giving me a warning. You talk about interaction. It interacted at the exact moment that I was given the warning. And actually it was a warning saying the psychic was warning me about an unhealthy obsession with the girl that I was dating, with some other man, I guess. And at that exact moment, a voice came over the tape and said the man's name. Oh, brother. Yeah.
Did you find out that that was true?
I didn't find out if it was true or not. I'm not sure if it ever came to light or not. But then right after that, I heard a whistle as well, like I heard earlier. Just like that. Yeah, I've been interested in this phenomenon. I also bought this book that I got through Wayne Green. It is Guide to Wisdom, which is called by Peter Vander. Yeah. And very interesting phenomenon. I'm going to start doing it myself. Well, because I've got 3 voices captured on tape.
Well, it's an extremely easy thing, to get into. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And you can do it pretty much anywhere.
Well, not everybody, you two understand, not everybody wants to hear from the other side.
Well, there is more interest in it today than years past. I've seen a change in the public's attitude towards this phenomenon.
Yes, I think it's because people are indeed becoming more spiritual.
Yes, and we're aware that there are possibilities of things that might exist out there than what we've been told.
No doubt. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with the GIS group. Hi there.
Hi, this is Shane from Knoxville.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for Wyndham and Barbara.
Oh, we're going to be on the air there in Knoxville.
Oh, yes. News Talk 990.
Man, off that they hardly need no think about us over there.
Well, we seem to enjoy you, the listeners, and I know. I wanted to ask Wyndham and Barbara, does the tune of the whistling ghost you had sound familiar to you?
No, I mean, it reminds me of an old Western song, and I would love, if anybody out there knows what that tune is, I would love to know it.
Well, I think, to me, it sounded very familiar, but it didn't sound like a Western. I was wondering maybe if I could play it again. As strange as it seems, the end of it sounded like the whistling in the X-Files.
Pretty certain?
Yeah, it really did.
What number was that?
Number 11.
Number 11. Let's see. I thought it's more like Bridge Over the River Kwai.
It kind of had a Western, like an old Western.
That's what I noticed.
All right, here we go. Everybody quiet. All right.
Sounds like to me.
Still does, huh?
Maybe the ghost watched the X-Files. I don't know.
Well, there's a couple of the people that said that it reminded them of the X-Files, but I hear an old cowboy tune.
Yeah, there's a lot of times that talks to be like the X-Files to me.
All right.
You're not the first that said that.
Really? So other people thought that too. Maybe that was just a little too cutesy, and so you decided not to go with that. Huh?
Well, it just reminds me of a cowboy song.
All right. Is that it, caller?
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, you two. The Ghost Investigator Society can be reached by going to my website and just linking over to theirs. Just go to the area where it says tonight's guest, and you'll be able to click right on their website, which is www.ghostpix.com, or if you want to send an email or a WAV file, I bet you guys love getting those. A WAV file. Their email is gis@ghostpix.com. GHOSTPIX.com. Do you receive a lot of WAV files from people?
No, actually we don't. We receive a lot of pictures.
You will now.
How to send WAV files, but we actually don't receive a lot of WAV files.
You're set up obviously for computers there because you dealt with processing the audio, right?
Yeah.
So WAV files would be a good thing.
they're easy, but most of the things that we post, we know what was happening at that time.
In other words, you have control.
Yes.
Did you ever get audio that came in conjunction with a photograph, a ghost photograph?
We've gotten audio that coincided with infrared video.
I recorded a voice on my audio tape and on my infrared video at the same time.
There you are. There you are. That's what I wanted to listen to you to. I really want to thank you for being here. And
we appreciate you asking.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We're going to do this again. I take it there'll be a whole new collection soon, right?
We have many.
Yeah, we're constantly getting new ones.
All right, then we're going to do it again. This was hot stuff. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. And for those of you that catch the last hour, hang in there. It's coming up. It's going to be absolutely open lines all the way. From the high desert, I'm Martel, and this is Coast to Coast AM.